Chapter 2082. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. He was sure that the blood demon ancestor had discovered him, but he had used the heaven-shrouding secret technique to hide himself in the void. He didn't expect the blood demon ancestor to see through the heaven-shrouding secret technique. I'm not tricking you. Since you don't want to come out, I can only ask you to come out. The blood demon ancestor's eyes revealed a touch of blood. In an instant, blood light filled his palm. Lightning blazed and directly turned into a blood-colored lightning bolt that shot towards Ling Zhao. Crack! The blood-colored lightning bolt exploded in the void, instantly creating ripples. Ling Zhao's figure appeared. In an instant, he dodged the attack of the blood-colored lightning bolt like a golden lightning bolt and fell from the sky like a meteor. How did you discover me? Ling Zhao's expression was calm as he looked at the blood demon ancestor indifferently. You're only an 8th revolution half-saint, and you're seriously injured. This is the first time I've seen such a mysterious aura-concealing technique. Kid, who are you? The blood demon ancestor looked at Ling Zhao with some surprise. The reason the blood demon ancestor could sense Ling Zhao's presence was because he cultivated the blood Tao. He was extremely sensitive to the power of blood and the aura of life. He had sensed Ling Zhao's majestic aura of life above the void. Although Ling Zhao had used the heaven-shrouding secret technique, he had not recovered from his serious injuries. Therefore, there were some flaws. The blood demon ancestor originally thought that the person hiding in the dark should be in the same group as the young man in the python robe and should be at least a 3rd-stage heaven-treading expert. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to feel such a strong aura of life. However, he didn't expect Ling Zhao to only be an 8th revolution half-saint, and he had not recovered from his serious injuries. I'm just a passerby. Your matter has nothing to do with me. I just want to ask where this place is. Do you have a map of the chaotic ancient land? Ling Zhao's expression was still very calm as he spoke slowly. Outsider. The expressions of Shi Qing and the others changed. They instantly looked at Ling Zhao with deep hostility. This is the Stone Spirit tribe of the Stone Spirit Island. Kid, you're probably a human trial taker from the God realm, right? You are indeed not with them. Although I have the map of the primal chaos ancient land, why should I give it to you? Furthermore, you've ruined my plans. Tell me, what should I do? The blood demon ancestor's eyes revealed a hint of mockery. What do you think we should do then? Ling Zhao asked calmly. Why don't you become my food, and I'll let your soul enter the cycle of reincarnation? The blood demon ancestor licked his lips. His aura appeared extremely evil, and his eyes were filled with a scarlet color. Murderous intent permeated the air around him. He had already decided to kill Ling Zhao. Most of the people in this area were geniuses of the human race. He had unintentionally snuck in here. If Ling Zhao were to reveal his secret, he would be in big trouble. Therefore, the moment he saw Ling Zhao, he decided to kill Ling Zhao once and for all. I think I have a second option. Ling Zhao said calmly. What path? The blood demon ancestor asked curiously. Blood-colored divine light rose around him, and a sea of blood surged. It contained a power fluctuation that could devour everything. It completely enveloped Ling Zhao within it. In his opinion, Ling Zhao was already a turtle in a jar that he could easily crush to death. Moreover, the blood demon ancestor could feel that Ling Zhao's physical body was extremely strong. It contained a majestic power of flesh and blood. Ling Zhao's life aura was extremely pure, and it was extremely attractive to him. It was as if as long as he could devour Ling Zhao, his injuries would be completely healed. I'll kill you and take the map of the primal chaos ancient land from you. Ling Zhao said calmly, and a sharp light flashed in his eyes. Rumble. Almost as soon as he finished speaking, he attacked the blood demon ancestor. Ling Zhao's entire body was enveloped by a golden divine light. The divine light was incomparably scorching, and bolts of lightning intertwined, containing the energy fluctuations of extreme yang. He punched out, and the fist imprint was unparalleled. It contained a fluctuation that could destroy everything, and its speed was extremely fast. Even the blood demon ancestor did not expect Ling Xiao to attack so decisively. "You're courting death." Murderous intent flashed in the blood demon ancestor's eyes. He did not expect that Ling Xiao, who was merely an 8th transformation half-saint, would dare to take the initiative to attack him. He immediately felt as if he had been greatly provoked, and he immediately became furious. Boom! The sea of blood around him boiled and surged. Blood-colored lightning bolts crisscrossed, densely packed, and formed a large net of blood-colored lightning that enveloped Ling Xiao. At the same time, blood-colored flames seemed to burn in the sea of blood. In an instant, the sea of blood turned into a sea of fire. It was as if everything in the world would be turned into ashes. Ling Xiao's fist was like a dragon, and he erupted with the strongest power of his physical body. The chaotic fist seal swept over and instantly exploded in the endless sea of blood. The blood-colored lightning that intertwined in the surroundings suddenly shattered. The blood-colored flames enveloped Ling Xiao, but they did not cause any harm to Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao was bathed in blood-colored flames. The divine light around him blazed, and his black hair fluttered. He threw a punch at the blood demon ancestor. Kill! The blood-colored light around the blood demon ancestor was blazing. Runes filled the air, and every ray of blood-colored light contained a power fluctuation that could devour everything. They were like blood-colored pythons that wrapped around Ling Xiao. Kacha! Ling Xiao's chaotic fist seal was extremely terrifying. In an instant, the blood-colored light that filled the sky exploded. Then, it collided with the blood demon ancestor fiercely and directly sent him flying. The blood-colored pythons intertwined and opened their bloody mouths as if they wanted to devour Ling Xiao completely. However, Ling Xiao's eyes burned fiercely. The golden divine light around him condensed and turned into a huge golden vortex that exploded with a loud bang. Devour! Ling Xiao shouted softly. In an instant, his body exuded an extremely terrifying devouring power. The devouring divine sea appeared behind him, and a vast blood-colored light surged into his body. The energy of the sea of blood, which was feared by others, seemed to have become Ling Xiao's nourishment. It was completely devoured by Ling Xiao's devouring secret technique. The divine light around Ling Xiao's body was blazing and dazzling. His life aura was incomparably rich, and his aura began to soar. The sea of blood was not only the blood demon ancestor's powerful attack method, but it was also the source of his power. The blood demon ancestor had devoured countless powerful creatures and turned their flesh and blood essence into a part of himself. Chapter 2083. This is the legendary sky-devouring secret technique? The blood demon ancestor's entire body trembled. His eyes revealed a look of shock and anger, and there was even a hint of hidden greed. Brat, I didn't expect you to have such a great opportunity. It seems that I've really underestimated you. Immortal blood demon, great void / kill him. The blood demon ancestor roared furiously. Blood light gathered around him, and the boiling sea of blood instantly soared into the sky. It turned into an incomparably blazing blade light in the sky. Then, it cut through the sky and slashed down toward Ling Xiao. The blood-red saber light emitted a demonic aura, as if it was a saber light formed by the heavenly Tao. It contained an immortal and eternal power fluctuation, wanting to completely cut everything apart. Even the void shattered with a loud bang. The great void / a saber light condensed from the supreme blood Tao, was extremely terrifying. Even Ling Xiao felt a great threat. A cold glint flashed in his eyes, and the devouring heaven sword appeared in his hand. Streams of primal chaos mist filled the air, and the sword trembled slightly. Then, it gently slashed forward. The sword light illuminated the world in all directions, breaking open the chaotic void. It was as if it had become the only eternal and only thing between heaven and earth in an instant. Kacha! The saber light and the sword light collided with a loud bang, and a huge crack that was hundreds of millions of feet long appeared in the void. A terrifying destructive power spread out, and the people in the rock spirit tribe all looked terrified. They screamed one after another, and in an instant, they were drowned by the crack, turning into a bloody mist. Other than Shirqing and a few people who escaped quickly, most of the experts in the rock spirit tribe died under this attack. To the blood demon ancestor, the rock spirit tribe was his tool. As long as he could kill Ling Xiao, not to mention exterminating one rock spirit tribe, even if he had to exterminate hundreds or thousands of rock spirit tribes, he wouldn't bat an eyelid. Kill! Fighting spirit rose in Ling Xiao's eyes, and the blood-red light around him seemed to boil. His fists were like dragons, ferocious and domineering. Although he could only use the power of his physical body had once again been tempered by the chaos and had become even more terrifying. Moreover, his attacks were wrapped in the power of wind and thunder, which could destroy all evil power. Rumble! The sea of blood boiled violently, and the blood demon ancestor roared repeatedly. He kept colliding with Ling Xiao, but there was no way he could break Ling Xiao's defense. Furthermore, his blood Dao superpower was restrained by Ling Xiao's sky-devouring secret technique, and he could only use a small portion of his strength. As Ling Xiao devoured the blood demon ancestor's energy, his aura became somewhat weakened. Damn it! Brat, I'll remember you. The blood demon ancestor thought of retreating. He knew that he could not keep Ling Xiao here. His heart was filled with reluctance as he decided to flee. His eyes were blood-red as he glared at Ling Xiao. The blood-red light around him rose and enveloped him in an instant. He turned into a blood-red bolt of lightning and was about to shoot off into the distance. You want to leave? Murderous intent flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes, and the flipping sky seal in his palm flew up into the sky. It was like an ancient divine mountain, vast and unparalleled, and suppressed the blood demon ancestor. At the same time, the flipping sky seal was also enveloped in blazing lightning, containing the power of Thunder Dao origin. It was fierce and domineering, as if it was going to cleanse all evil power. Rumble! Although the blood demon ancestor was extremely fast, he was still not as fast as the flipping sky seal. A bolt of lightning exploded, and the flipping sky seal instantly blasted the blood demon ancestor's body. Endless lightning exploded, and the blood-red energy began to be annihilated. The blood demon ancestor let out a blood-curdling scream, and in an instant, he fell from the sky. The flipping sky seal was so fast that the blood demon ancestor did not even have time to react. This was a supreme-grade holy treasure, in addition to the Thunder Dao origin of the Thunder Dao origin. The blood demon ancestor was unable to resist it, and he was instantly injured. Refine! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and the divine light around his body was dazzling. Golden flames rose, and an ancient three-legged, two-eared cauldron appeared in front of him. It was Zhao Ritian's Flame Emperor cauldron. It spun in the void and directly sucked the blood demon ancestor into the cauldron. Rumble! Mysterious runes flashed, and blazing flames rose. Ling Xiao used the sky-devouring secret skill and evolved the Flame Emperor cauldron with the Battling Heavens skill, forcibly refining the blood demon ancestor. At the beginning, the blood demon ancestor's screams, curses, and pleas for mercy could still be heard from the Flame Emperor cauldron. But soon, it stopped abruptly, and his soul was destroyed by Ling Xiao. Rumble! The majestic blood Dao essence merged into Ling Xiao's body like a blood-red sun. The aura around Ling Xiao began to soar. His qi and blood rose, and his black hair fluttered in the wind. His eyes were like lightning and incomparably blazing. It was as if he had eaten a great tonic, causing his strength to become stronger and stronger. Even his severely injured primordial spirit and meridians were slowly recovering. Speaking of which, the blood demon ancestor had underestimated his opponent too much and was unlucky. Although the blood demon ancestor was already a third-level heaven-treading expert, he had yet to recover from his serious injuries, so he couldn't completely unleash the battle prowess of a third-level heaven-treading expert. In addition, his blood Dao divine ability was restrained by the sky-devouring secret skill. In the end, he could only be refined by Ling Xiao in an incomparably aggrieved manner. Instead, he became Ling Xiao's nourishment. Did I say you could leave? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He realized that Shurqing and the others wanted to sneak away while he was refining the blood demon ancestor. He couldn't help but sneer. His voice was as dazzling as thunder, rumbling in the void. In an instant, Shurqing and the others stiffened. They couldn't help but slowly turn around, and their expressions became extremely ugly. Outsider, you've already killed the blood demon ancestor. What else do you want? Shurqing shouted, trying to put up a strong front. Their faces were somewhat pale, and their bodies couldn't help but tremble. Even the blood demon ancestor had died in Ling Xiao's hands. They had no intention of resisting at all. Although the blood demon ancestor is dead, if you want to live, hand over the true dragon blood Ganoderma. Ling Xiao said coldly. The true dragon blood Ganoderma was a supreme origin sacred medicine. It was extremely precious and had already been lost in the god realm. It contained an incomparably vast amount of life essence, and it was a treasure that Ling Xiao needed. He needed many heavenly treasures that contained life essence to heal his injuries. He naturally wouldn't let go of the true dragon blood Ganoderma. The true dragon blood Ganoderma is in the rock spirit mountain. Shurqing originally wanted to refuse, but when he saw Ling Xiao's cold and deep eyes, his body instantly trembled. He directly swallowed the words he wanted to say and smiled bitterly. Chapter 2084. Bring me there. If you can find the dragon blood Ganoderma, I'll spare your life. Otherwise, I'll send you to meet the blood demon ancestor. Ling Xiao said coldly. Don't worry, sir. I'm the only one who knows the whereabouts of the dragon blood Ganoderma. I'll bring you there now. The moment he heard that there was hope, Shurqing's spirits were lifted a little. He hurriedly said to Ling Xiao. Whoosh! Whoosh! Under Shurqing's lead, Ling Xiao and Shurqing leaped into the air and flew towards the stone spirit mountain. The spiritual stone mountain was behind the spiritual stone tribe. It was a few thousand feet tall and was covered by ancient trees. It was lush and filled with chaotic mist. It looked peaceful and mysterious. According to Shurqing, a dragon sage fell from the sky countless years ago and died in the mountain range. His blood essence gathered in the depths of the spiritual stone mountain. After countless years, the dragon blood Ganoderma was nurtured. Of course, this was just a rumor from a long time ago. Its origin could not be verified. A dragon sage fell from the sky. Could it be an expert from the previous era? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he thought to himself. Ling Xiao's secret skill of the ancestral dragon had reached the complete divine dragon body. In order to break through to the ancestral dragon body, other than a certain level of enlightenment and opportunity, the most important thing was the ancestral dragon's blood essence. However, the Archean ancestral dragon had disappeared for countless years. If he wanted to find the ancestral dragon's blood essence, he might be able to find it in the ancestral land of the dragon tribe in the monster realm. However, if it was a dragon sage from the previous era, he might have the ancestral dragon's blood essence. Thinking of this, Ling Xiao was a little tempted. Shurqing brought Ling Xiao to the depths of the spiritual stone mountain. There were clouds lingering and chaotic energy was extremely dense. There were even cracks in the void. It was full of danger. If he was not careful, he would be swallowed by the cracks in the void. Shurqing was very careful. He concealed his aura and finally stopped in front of a hidden cave. Sir, the dragon blood Ganoderma is in the cave. Can you let me go now? Shurqing looked at Ling Xiao and said. Go in. When I see the dragon blood Ganoderma, I'll let you go. Ling Xiao said plainly. He did not intend to let Shurqing go now. A bitter smile appeared on Shurqing's face, but he could only obediently enter the cave and lead Ling Xiao into the depths. This cave seemed to be winding all the way to the belly of the mountain. Moreover, there was a mysterious concealment rune array at the entrance of the cave. Ordinary people would not be able to find this place. Finally, in the belly of the mountain, Ling Xiao saw the true dragon blood Lingji. Boom! It was a crimson stone pool that was surrounded by blazing magma flames. There were some ancient and mysterious patterns on the stone pool that looked like crimson blood vessels or tiny divine dragons. There were dark brown bloodstains in the middle of the stone pool. There was a blood-red lingji mushroom growing there. It was as big as a millstone. Its entire body was sparkling and translucent. It looked like a coiled blood-red divine dragon. It was lifelike and incomparably mysterious. At the dragon's head, there was actually a mysterious flower bud. This was the true dragon blood lingji. The true dragon blood Ganoderma was enveloped in a blazing glow. Mysterious runes rose one after another, causing the surrounding space to tremble slightly. Ling Xiao could feel that the true dragon blood Ganoderma was exuding an incomparably powerful dragon's aura. The true dragon blood Ganoderma, actually bloomed. Shi Qing's body suddenly trembled. His eyes revealed an incomparably ecstatic expression. On top of the true dragon blood lingji, the mysterious flower bud slightly trembled. In the end, it actually slowly bloomed. The petals looked gorgeous and dazzling, sparkling and translucent. They were as thin as a cicada's wing. The misty chaotic radiance dyed the entire cave as bright as day. The true dragon blood Ganoderma was a supreme origin sacred medicine. However, it was extremely difficult for a lingji to bloom. Once it bloomed, it would bestow some kind of spirituality to the lingji. Just like a living creature, it broke the restrictions of its race and possessed unlimited possibilities. Whoosh! The true dragon blood Ganoderma trembled slightly and actually turned into a golden divine dragon in an instant. It moved towards the void like lightning. In an instant, the void trembled. Lightning flashed and a mysterious phenomenon appeared in midair. It was as though an immemorial divine dragon had awakened. The dragon's aura was vast and unparalleled. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. The transformation of the true dragon blood Ganoderma in front of him was also out of his expectations. However, he reacted instantly. In his palm, 9 Heaven Dao primal chaos tablets flew out and landed around the true dragon blood Ganoderma. Rays of mysterious light intertwined and enveloped it completely. Boom! The true dragon blood Ganoderma possessed an extremely strong spirituality. It suddenly charged towards the Heaven Dao primal chaos tablets in an attempt to escape. The Heaven Dao primal chaos tablets trembled violently. That golden divine dragon seemed to contain an incomparably strong energy, causing the 9 Heaven Dao primal chaos tablets to rumble loudly. Whoosh! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. In an instant, the 9 Heaven Dao primal chaos tablets intertwined with each other. Like a mysterious chaotic boundary, it trapped the true dragon blood Ganoderma within. After that, it flew into Ling Xiao's palm. The true dragon blood Ganoderma was still struggling within the chaotic boundary. However, no matter what, it couldn't escape. Let me go, you big baddie. The true dragon blood Ganoderma actually let out a childlike voice. Its childlike voice was filled with anger. Stop struggling. You won't be able to escape from my Heaven Dao primal chaos tablets. If you don't wish to die, you'd better behave. Otherwise, I don't mind destroying your Dao spirit first. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he said coldly. This true dragon blood Ganoderma had bloomed and nurtured a Dao spirit. It could fly and even cultivate on its own. It was incomparably strong. Such a true dragon blood Ganoderma had indescribable benefits to Ling Xiao. As though Ling Xiao's threat was effective, the true dragon blood Ganoderma was still very angry. However, it didn't dare to continue struggling. Ling Xiao carefully kept the true dragon blood Ganoderma. He didn't intend to consume the true dragon blood Ganoderma just like that. That was simply a waste of a heavenly treasure. If he could use the true dragon blood Ganoderma as the main ingredient to concoct pills, he might be able to recover completely from his injuries. Sir, you've already found the true dragon blood Ganoderma. Can you let me go now? Shi Qing looked at Ling Xiao with some apprehension. He was afraid that Ling Xiao would go back on his words and kill him. You should feel lucky that you didn't play any tricks. You can go now. Ling Xiao glanced at Shi Qing indifferently. Shi Qing was just a small fry. Ling Xiao did not put him in his eyes at all. Killing or releasing him was not a big problem. After hearing Ling Xiao's words, Shi Qing felt as though he had been pardoned. He thanked Ling Xiao profusely before turning around and running out of the cave. Kacha! Suddenly, a blazing divine light shot through the sky and turned into a silver spear. It directly pierced through Shi Qing's chest and nailed him to the mountain wall. Chapter 2085. Puff! Shi Qing spat out a mouthful of blood. His eyes were filled with terror. That silver spear was extremely overbearing and contained a power that could seal everything. It nailed him to the mountain wall, rendering him unable to move. Several young men with sharp eyes walked in from outside the cave. Their auras were extremely powerful. All of them were at the peak of the 9 Revolution half-saint realm. Their faces were filled with arrogance. The leader was a slender young man in silver armor. He seemed to be only 16 or 17 years old. However, his face was handsome and his eyes were sharp. His entire body was filled with an air of superiority. There was a faint silver rune flickering in his palm. At this moment, he was staring at Ling Xiao with a sense of scrutiny. Ling Xiao could tell that the silver spear was shot out by him. Shi Qing, how dare you? Not only did you disobey my order, but you also killed my subordinate. How should I punish you? The young man in silver armor stared at Shi Qing and said with a trace of blazing killing intent in his eyes. Young Master Feng Qingyang. How did you find this place? Shi Qing's face was filled with terror. He looked at the young man in front of him and said in disbelief. Feng Qingyang was known as Young Master Qingyang. He was the master of Qingyang City and also the master of the Rock Spirit Tribe. He was extremely powerful. He was a peerless genius who had broken through the limit and entered the 3rd level of heaven treading. Seeing Feng Qingyang at this moment, Shi Qing was naturally terrified and nervous. How did I get here? Of course, I killed all the people of the Rock Spirit Tribe and extracted their souls to find this place. I didn't expect that this place could nurture the true dragon blood Ganoderma. Unfortunately, Shi Qing, you're courting death. No one can save you today. Feng Qingyang said coldly. Crack. Shi Qing's face changed greatly. He wanted to say something, but Feng Qingyang didn't give him the chance. He stretched out his hand and the silver spear flew into his palm. Then, it turned into a silver lightning and penetrated Shi Qing's forehead in an instant, killing him completely. Shi Qing's eyes widened as he let out a ha-ha sound from his mouth. His voice was filled with unwillingness and fear as he fell to the ground with a loud bang, completely dead. You killed him. Ling Xiao frowned slightly. Although he did not have a good impression of Shi Qing, he had promised to spare his life. He was originally my subordinate, and the consequence of betrayal is death. This friend, I presume that the true dragon blood Lingji is in your hands. Hand over the true dragon blood Lingji, and I'll leave your corpse intact. Feng Qingyang said as he looked at Ling Xiao. You want to kill me? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he said with a faint smile. He could tell that Feng Qingyang's strength was extraordinary. He had already broken through the limit once and advanced to the 3rd level of heaven treading. To have such fortune at such a young age, he indeed had the right to be proud. However, this Feng Qingyang was too arrogant. You took my true dragon blood Ganoderma, and the deaths of my subordinates must have something to do with you, right? I don't care so much, hand over the true dragon blood Lingji, and I'll leave your corpse intact. Otherwise, you'll be refusing a toast only to drink a forfeit. Feng Qingyang's expression was incomparably cold as he looked at Ling Xiao condescendingly. The powerful young geniuses behind him sneered. Their eyes were filled with cold killing intent as they slowly surrounded Ling Xiao. Or I'll give you a choice. What do you think? Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. Give me a choice. Are you worthy? Feng Qingyang said with disdain. Submit to me and be my slave, and I'll spare your life. What do you think? Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. Boy, how dare you be rude to the young master? You're courting death. A young man in a black robe next to Feng Qingyang sneered. His eyes were filled with killing intent, and the saber intent around him was extremely pure. He slashed at Ling Xiao with his saber, and the saber light was sharp and terrifying. Get lost. Ling Xiao's gaze turned cold as he threw out a punch. A golden fist mark suddenly exploded, spreading out in a mighty manner like a rising sun, blooming millions of rays of light. Boom! The saber light in the void was shattered by Ling Xiao, and the golden fist mark blasted on the black saber. The black-robed young man's expression changed drastically as he felt his body trembling. It was as if he had hit an erupting volcano, and the saber in his hand flew out. Ling Xiao's punch did not lose its momentum, and directly blasted on the black-robed young man's chest. A crisp sound was heard, and the black-robed young man's sternum was broken, and his chest caved in. He spurted out blood, flew out for hundreds of feet, and heavily smashed into the mountain wall in the distance. Hey, boy, you're really something to be able to get the real dragon blood Ganoderma from Shiqing. But since you refuse a toast only to drink a forfeit, don't blame me for being impolite. There was a hint of surprise in Feng Qingyang's eyes. He sneered and instantly made his move. Rumble. The void vibrated, and the silver spear in Feng Qingyang's hand was extremely sharp. Its speed was extremely fast, and it pierced towards Ling Xiao's glabella like a bolt of lightning. His body exuded a vast power of the law of great path, and his attack contained a vast heaven's might. His aura was actually not weaker than that of an ordinary saint. This was the battle strength of the third realm of heaven treading. If it was an ordinary half-saint expert, it would be impossible for him to survive even one move from Feng Qingyang. Is that so? I also want to see if you're qualified to be my servant. Ling Xiao sneered, and the aura around him instantly became extremely sharp. Streaks of chaotic mist filled the air, and the surrounding void vibrated slightly. He blasted a punch towards Feng Qingyang. Crack! Golden lightning exploded in the void, and accompanied by a vast dragon roar, Ling Xiao instantly blasted out hundreds of punches. Fist shadows filled the void, and aimed at the vital parts of Feng Qingyang's body. You have a sharp tongue. The light in Feng Qingyang's eyes grew colder and colder. The silver spear in his hand contained an incomparably terrifying power. It seemed to have formed a blazing silver storm around him as he continued to attack, piercing through the fist imprints one after another. Finally, it converged into a silver torrent and headed straight for Ling Xiao's forehead. Feng Qingyang's attack was extremely sharp and ruthless. An ordinary 9th Revolution half-saint expert would not be able to dodge the power of his attack. Boom! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and in an instant, blazing divine light rose from his body. His fist was like a dragon, and transformed into a blazing golden lightning dragon in the void, and suddenly collided with the silver spear. It was as if a resplendent sun had exploded, setting off a terrifying storm of divine light that engulfed Ling Xiao and Feng Qingyang. Chapter 2086. Feng Qingyang's face was as cold as iron. He had never thought that Ling Xiao would dare to look down on him. Ling Xiao stepped on his face, which made him feel a strong provocation and humiliation. Suddenly, his qi and blood rose vigorously like the sea. The silver spear in his hand was stained with golden blood. Evil qi filled the sky as it pierced towards Ling Xiao, intending to pierce through him. Rumble. The blood on the silver spear was dazzling with golden light and contained a majestic energy fluctuation. It was the blood of a saint, which contained the power of the Great Way Law. Feng Qingyang had once killed a saint. At this moment, the supreme power of the blood made Feng Qingyang's power even more terrifying. Boom! Above the void, a huge footprint fell as if a celestial emperor had descended from the 9th heaven. It collided with the silver spear with a loud bang. Ling Xiao's white robe fluttered in the wind, and his black hair fluttered in the wind. He looked like a celestial being, but the energy around him was incomparably violent. He stepped on the silver spear, and the spear suddenly bent like a longbow. Streaks of blood burst out from the spear, and Feng Qingyang was sent flying away. Your strength is not bad. However, you're still a little inexperienced. I'm afraid you've just entered the third stage of heaven treading, right? Ling Xiao said indifferently. His eyes were calm and deep like the vast sea. He stepped on the void, and the blazing qi and blood around him rose to the sky. It made him look incomparably overbearing, as if he could suppress the heavens with a raise of his hand. How can your body be so strong? Are you a member of the demon race? No, you're an expert of the human race. Feng Qingyang's expression became somewhat solemn. He stared at Ling Xiao and said doubtfully. The young man in front of him was merely an 8th revolution half-saint. He seemed to be seriously injured, but his body was abnormally strong. It gave him an illusion that he could not contend with him. Just now, Ling Xiao was surrounded by a vast dragon power. He thought that Ling Xiao was a heaven's pride of the demon race. However, he could feel that Ling Xiao's aura was incomparably pure. He was an expert of the human race. Of course I'm from the human race. Which sacred ground are you from? Among the 12 immortal sacred grounds of the divine realm, the name Feng Qingyang is somewhat unfamiliar. Ling Xiao stared at Feng Qingyang and asked. Feng Qingyang didn't look like an ancient prodigy. Moreover, he had just broken through to the 3rd level of heaven treading not long ago. He should be a prodigy of the divinity world. However, he had heard of almost all the saints and prodigies of the various sacred grounds and monarch clans in the divinity world, but he had never heard of the name Feng Qingyang. You want to know my background? Then you'll have to defeat my spear first. Feng Qingyang said coldly. His eyes were filled with fighting spirit. The silver armor on his body shone and runes rose from the silver spear, turning into a blazing silver flame that distorted the void. Crack! In an instant, the sea of flames behind Feng Qingyang rose up and 9 dazzling suns floated out, causing Feng Qingyang's aura to skyrocket. Solar Sky Art, kill! Feng Qingyang's eyes were sharp. The silver spear shot towards Ling Xiao with monstrous flames. Moreover, the 9 suns pressed down on Ling Xiao at the same time. In an instant, the cave shook violently. Although the rock spirit mountain was incomparably sturdy, it couldn't withstand Feng Qingyang's terrifying power in the end and exploded with a loud bang. Solar Sky Art? You're from the Taishengdao Palace? Ling Xiao was slightly taken aback. He finally understood Feng Qingyang's background. The solar sky art was the supreme technique of the Taishengdao Palace. Legend had it that it was created by a supreme sacred king in the ancient times. It had the power to burn the sky and destroy the earth. The 9 suns behind Feng Qingyang were formed by the great Tao law. It meant that Feng Qingyang had cultivated this supreme technique to the realm of greater mastery. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with a strange light. This kid was actually from the Heart sect. But he had never heard of this kid's name before. Ling Xiao didn't have time to think. The silver spear had already pierced through the sky. His heart was also stimulated by the supreme battle intent. He crossed the sky and charged towards Feng Qingyang. Runes rose between his palms and blazing flames rose. In an instant, an ancient alchemy cauldron was formed and faced the silver spear. Ling Xiao's competitive spirit was also stimulated. He used the supreme Yen Emperor cauldron with the battle heavenly art. His body was covered in blazing flames as if an ancient great emperor had been reborn. His aura was terrifying as if it could pierce through this part of the world. Boom! 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 Ling Xiao and Feng Qingyang exchanged blows. Their aura was monstrous. Thousands of rays of divine light shot out and shook the void tens of thousands of miles. In the void, the 2 blazing figures intertwined and collided. Every blow was as if the world was falling apart. Refine! Ling Xiao's eyes were like lightning. The Yen Emperor cauldron rose into the sky as if it contained a vast world. The mouth of the cauldron spewed out rays of light and released an incomparably terrifying devouring power towards Feng Qingyang. The 9 suns around Feng Qingyang were trembling as if they were about to be completely devoured and refined by the Yen Emperor cauldron. Feng Qingyang's eyelids twitched. He had not expected Ling Xiao to be so ferocious. If the 9 suns were taken away, although he would not be seriously injured, the 9 suns were formed by his supreme yang origin. His vitality would be greatly damaged. Swoosh! Feng Qingyang's eyes were sharp. The silver spear pierced through the vast void as if it was breaking open the vast sea. It fell directly towards the Yen Emperor cauldron, wanting to shatter it. Kacha! Blazing flames rose as the silver spear pierced the Yen Emperor cauldron. The Yen Emperor cauldron trembled violently as cracks appeared. The flames were extremely violent and it seemed as if it would collapse at any time. Break! Feng Qingyang's eyes lit up. The silver spear became even sharper as he poured all his terrifying energy into the spear. He wanted to completely break the Yen Emperor cauldron. Boom! In the end, the Yen Emperor cauldron could not withstand the power of Feng Qingyang's silver spear and exploded. It turned into a blazing flame that swept across the void. However, Feng Qingyang suddenly saw that Ling Xiao's expression was normal and there was a faint smile at the corner of his mouth. Feng Qingyang's heart raced as he knew that things were not going well. Boom! The flames around him did not dissipate. Instead, they formed streaks of dazzling golden runes that were gathered together by the divine chains of order. They surged in the void and turned into a flame emperor cauldron that was tens of thousands of feet tall. Feng Qingyang happened to be inside the Yen Emperor cauldron. Ling Xiao pushed his arms out as if he was pushing away billions of stars in the sky. Unparalleled divine power blasted on the Yen Emperor cauldron, causing it to tremble violently. Terrifying sound waves erupted and spread out in all directions. Rumble! The sea around the spiritual stone island exploded as billions of water pillars shot up into the sky. Many demonic beasts in the sea exploded and the sea was dyed red. Chapter 2087. Do you admit defeat? Ling Xiao said indifferently, his voice rumbling like thunder in the Flame Emperor cauldron. No! Feng Qingyang roared, his voice filled with grief, indignation, and unwillingness. Runes rose from his body as the silver spear in his hand tried to pierce through the Flame Emperor cauldron. Who is this person? How can he be so strong? The geniuses who came with Feng Qingyang were stunned as well. Their eyes were filled with disbelief as they watched the scene unfold before them. Initially, they thought that Feng Qingyang would be able to suppress Ling Xiao easily. However, they did not expect that the result would be like this. Feng Qingyang was almost suppressed by Ling Xiao. Save young Master Qingyang. Kill! Someone shouted, and the geniuses immediately attacked Ling Xiao, erupting with powerful energy in an attempt to interfere with Ling Xiao's battle heavenly art and rescue Feng Qingyang from the Flame Emperor cauldron. You're all loyal, but unfortunately, you're still too weak. Ling Xiao looked at the crowd with some surprise. His blood and qi surged to the sky as he threw a punch at the crowd. Kacha! Chaotic qi rose, and the void all around trembled. Ling Xiao performed the fist of the Heavenly Emperor, and the chaotic fist swept through the void for hundreds of millions of miles, shattering everyone's attacks. Then, without losing any momentum, the chaotic fist landed on their bodies. It was as if an ancient divine mountain was pressing down on them. The young experts all trembled violently as they spat out mouthfuls of blood. One by one, they were sent flying back. If you don't admit defeat, then I'll beat you until you do. Ling Xiao's eyes were sharp as the Flame Emperor cauldron trembled violently. He punched again and again, and hundreds of punches landed on the Flame Emperor cauldron, causing it to vibrate strangely and erupt with terrifying sound waves that seemed capable of reducing everything to dust. Rumble! Feng Qingyang was suppressed in the Flame Emperor cauldron. He roared and circulated the heavenly sun art, causing suns to rise around him as he tried to break out of the Flame Emperor cauldron. However, when the boundless sound wave erupted, it even contained a vast dragon's might, causing Feng Qingyang's body to tremble violently. Traces of blood seeped out of his pores. His internal organs were severely injured, and he coughed up blood continuously. I don't admit defeat. I refuse to accept this. Feng Qingyang roared. His eyes were filled with defiance. In an instant, terrifying divine light rose around him. Above his head, lightning blazed. A celestial flower of the great path appeared and slowly bloomed. In an instant, it spewed out infinite divine light. The Grand Tao immortal flower emitted a mysterious light as the vast laws of the Grand Tao supported Feng Qingyang, causing his aura to skyrocket. He looked like a supreme saint, dignified and mysterious. The injuries on Feng Qingyang's body healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. His silver battle armor emitted a dazzling radiance. His eyes were filled with monstrous fighting intent and anger. Crack! The silver spear was imbued with an immeasurable amount of divine power. It stabbed into the Yen Emperor cauldron, causing it to tremble violently. Beams of divine light shot out, and in the end, the cauldron exploded. I'll kill you. Feng Qingyang had suffered such a great loss in the hands of Ling Xiao. He was young and impetuous, and could not bear such a setback. He stabbed the silver spear in his hand at Ling Xiao. At this moment, Feng Qingyang seemed to have become a supreme saint, possessing the power to destroy the world. Stepping into the celestial being realm. But you haven't even reached the human sovereign realm. You're still too weak. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a strange look. He could see that the Grand Tao immortal flower above Feng Qingyang's head was filled with chaotic qi. It seemed like a mysterious shadow had appeared, but it had not completely condensed. This meant that Feng Qingyang had not reached the human sovereign realm, and his strength was still weaker than Hua Xiang's. Boom! Ling Xiao directly punched out, and the incomparably violent energy around him completely exploded. Accompanied by the majestic roar of a dragon, chaotic qi permeated the air, and 3,000 worlds rose. This punch was like the hand of the heavens, wanting to destroy everything. His eyes were sharp, and his aura was monstrous. After being tempered by chaos several times, Ling Xiao's physical body had become unbelievably strong. Boom! The silver spear in Feng Qingyang's hand vibrated violently, and an unparalleled divine power erupted, causing the silver spear to fly out of his hand. Feng Qingyang's body was also trembling violently, and he was sent flying by Ling Xiao's punch. In the face of absolute power, everything was just an illusion. Although Feng Qingyang had unleashed his celestial ascension realm cultivation, and possessed the strength of a saint, he was still completely defeated by Ling Xiao's heavenly sovereign fist. Boom! Light flowed under Ling Xiao's feet as he used the secret teleportation technique, and instantly teleported hundreds of millions of feet away. He appeared in front of Feng Qingyang, grabbed him by the throat, and lifted him up. You are Long Outyan of the War God Temple. Feng Qingyang's face was flushed, and he could not hide the shock in his eyes as he stared at Ling Xiao. You recognize me? You dare to attack me after recognizing me? Are you courting death? Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. Feng Qingyang was about to curse in his heart. I just recognized you as that freak Long Outyan, okay? If I had known you earlier, who would have dared to attack you? Feng Qingyang was full of complaints, but he still said coldly, even if you are Long Outyan, don't expect me to submit to you. I, Feng Qingyang, would rather die than submit to you. You really don't want to submit? Then I can only kill you. Ling Xiao said indifferently, and there was a trace of cold killing intent in his eyes. Looking at Ling Xiao's cold eyes, Feng Qingyang could not help but shudder. He quickly said, Long. Palace Master Long, the Supreme Doctrine Palace and the War God Temple have been good friends for generations, and we are allies. If you kill me, aren't you afraid of destroying the relationship between our two sects? At most, I will apologize to you. Feng Qingyang's face was flushed, and he was so ashamed that he wanted to find a hole to hide in. He had never thought that there would be a day when he would beg for mercy. It was simply too embarrassing. Submit to me, and I will spare your life. Ling Xiao withdrew the killing intent in his eyes and said with a faint smile. Palace Master Long, you are so powerful. What's the use of me submitting to you? Why don't you let me go, and I will use treasures to apologize to you. How about it? Feng Qingyang was still very unwilling to accept this. Don't bargain with me. If you submit to me, all your treasures will naturally be mine. You want to use my treasures to apologize to me? Do you believe that I will kill you right now? Ling Xiao said as he stared at Feng Qingyang with an unfriendly expression. Feng Qingyang was speechless, and he suddenly cursed in his heart. He was convinced by such a strange reason. Long Outyen, if you want me to submit to you, I can do it, but only in the chaotic ancient land. You have to let me go after the Heavenly Choice Convention. Otherwise, you will have to kill me. Feng Qingyang finally submitted and said with grief and indignation. No problem, I like people like you who know how to adapt to circumstances. Work hard for me in the future, and I will not mistreat you. Ling Xiao smiled as he patted Feng Qingyang's head. In fact, he did not intend to kill Feng Qingyang. After all, the Supreme Doctrine Palace and the War God Temple had a good relationship. He just wanted to scare Feng Qingyang and kill his arrogance. He did not expect that this kid would be so sensible and submit to him. Ling Xiao naturally accepted such a follower without any hesitation. Feng Qingyang turned his head to the side in grief and indignation. He felt that the following days were dark, and there was no way he could stand out. Chapter 2088. Young Master Qingyang, how can you submit to him? He's just an 8th revolution half-saint. This is a disgrace to your wisdom. The young geniuses found it hard to accept. They looked at Ling Xiao in awe and whispered to Feng Qingyang. Do you know who he is? Feng Qingyang asked the young geniuses. These people were not disciples of the Supreme Tao Palace, but people who followed Feng Qingyang in the chaotic ancient land. Who is he? Could he be an ancient sky pride? A black-robed young man said unwillingly. He's not an ancient sky pride, but he has killed an ancient sky pride before. Feng Qingyang said in a serious tone. His eyes revealed a trace of seriousness. What? Killed an ancient sky pride? Everyone was shocked, and their eyes were filled with disbelief. Who were ancient sky prides? They were supreme experts in the ancient times, and they had even swept through an era. The reason why they had sealed themselves until today was for the Heaven's Choice Convention. Those ancient sky prides had broken through the limit at least once, and their strength was terrifying. Feng Qingyang said that Ling Xiao had killed an ancient sky pride, which was hard for everyone to accept. Have you heard of Hua Ziang? He's a sky pride of the Chinese. Even Hua Tianqiong and Yang Wen of the Heavenly Curse sect died in his hands. Although he's just an 8th revolution half-saint, he has the strength to kill a saint. Feng Qingyang sighed and glanced at Ling Xiao. He found that Ling Xiao was very calm, as if there was no expression on his face. Feng Qingyang was also guessing that Ling Xiao's cultivation was only at the 8th revolution half-saint realm and he was severely injured. He was afraid that it was the means of the two great saint experts of the Hua clan and the Heavenly Curse sect. The more Feng Qingyang thought about it, the more shocked he was that Ling Xiao could escape from the two great saints. In the divine world, many people thought that Ling Xiao had died in the hands of the Chinese and the Heavenly Curse sect, but they did not expect him to survive and enter the chaotic ancient land. He's Long Outyen. Everyone's body trembled as a name appeared in their minds. Their faces were filled with incomparable shock. Naturally, they had also heard of Long Outyen's name. In the divine world, Long Outyen's name resounded like thunder. He had once fought against Elder Huang Tai of the 9-layered Imperial Obelisk, forced the saints of the Hua clan and Heavenly Curse sect to lower their heads, and killed Hua Ziang, Hua Tianqiong, and Yang Wen. Every one of these achievements was enough to shock the entire divine world. After the Chinese and the Heavenly Curse sect announced that Long Outyen had been killed, they thought that Long Outyen was really dead. However, they did not expect to see Long Outyen in the chaotic ancient land. After knowing Ling Xiao's true identity, the conflict in their hearts lessened significantly. This was a peerless expert comparable to the prides of heaven of ancient times. An 8th revolution half-saint was able to kill an expert of the 3rd level of heaven treading. Once he broke through the limit and broke through to the 3rd level of heaven treading, how terrifying would he be? At that time, he might even be able to fight against the legendary Son of Heaven. When Feng Qingyang saw the shocked expression on everyone's face, he felt a little better. It seemed like Long Outyan's name had thoroughly frightened them. Feng Qingyang, tell me about the situation in the chaotic ancient land first. Ling Xiao glanced at Feng Qingyang and said indifferently. He had just arrived at the chaotic ancient land and was only in this boundless chaotic star island. He was not clear about the situation in the chaotic ancient land and was eager to know about the situation in the chaotic ancient land and the Heaven's Choice Convention. Palace Master Long, the chaotic ancient land has been open for 3 years. In these 3 years, countless prides of heaven from all over the universe have entered the chaotic ancient land and cultivated with the help of the incomparably pure origin energy in the chaotic ancient land. Their cultivation base has advanced by leaps and bounds. Most of them have become high-level half-saints and are extremely powerful. There are a total of 108 holy cities in the chaotic ancient land, and the sea region we are in is within the territory of the human race's holy cities. Feng Qingyang nodded and began to introduce the situation in the chaotic ancient land to Ling Xiao. You don't have to call me Palace Master Long in the future. Just call me Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao said indifferently, a strange light flashing in his eyes. It was time for the name Ling Xiao to come back. Ling Xiao had a hunch that his identity could not be hidden for long. Moreover, he was confident that after the Heaven's Choice Convention, he would be able to affirm his Tao and become a saint. He would have enough strength to protect himself and would not need to hide his identity anymore. Feng Qingyang did not know Ling Xiao's thoughts and was secretly criticizing him. He thought that Ling Xiao must have a guilty conscience and was afraid that the Chinese and Heavenly Curse sect would seek revenge on him. Therefore, he used the alias Ling Xiao. However, he did not think too much about it and nodded before continuing to speak. The chaotic ancient land was a mysterious existence. No one knew where the chaotic ancient land was. The chaotic ancient land would only appear in the Heaven's Choice Convention that was held once every epoch. The primal chaos ancient land was incomparably vast. No one knew exactly how big it was. It contained countless heavenly materials and earthly treasures, mysterious treasures, and even the abodes of saints and great emperors. There were thousands of opportunities, thousands of fortunes. Among them, there were 108 holy cities, which were left behind by experts in the antiquity times. Rumor had it that these holy cities belonged to the 108 strongest races in the universe. Their specific origins were unknown. These 108 holy cities were used for many geniuses to trade treasures, rest, and discuss Tao. There were law enforcers in the holy cities. Killing was prohibited in the holy cities and violators would be beheaded by the law enforcers. The chaotic ancient land had been opened for 3 years. Although there were passages to enter the chaotic ancient land from all over the universe, they were randomly teleported. Everyone would be teleported to a different region. Some people would even be teleported to the holy cities of the devil race. Naturally, that would not bode well for them. In the past 3 years, many heaven's prides had obtained a lot of fortunes and opportunities in the chaotic ancient land. Their cultivation had advanced by leaps and bounds and they had begun to explore this mysterious region. What is the specific content of the Heaven's Choice Convention? Do you know how to become the Heaven's Choice child? Ling Xiao looked at Feng Qingyang and asked. I'm afraid no one knows about this. Feng Qingyang smiled wryly and said, after entering the chaotic ancient land, the Heaven's Choice Convention is considered to have begun. As for how to become the Heaven's Choice child, no one knows. But everyone is working hard to cultivate, strengthen themselves, and then explore the secrets of the chaotic ancient land. They want to find the method to become the Heaven's Choice child. Ling Xiao nodded. It seemed that the Heaven's Choice Convention was not the same as he had imagined. Moreover, the interval between each Heaven's Choice Convention was too long. The great calamity of the epoch had buried everything. The past could not be used as a reference and one could only rely on oneself. However, Ling Xiao did not expect that he would be in a coma for 3 years. In other words, he had fallen into a state of suspended animation. If he had not comprehended the secrets of chaos, fate, karma, and samsara, it would not have been so easy for him to wake up. Chapter 2089. Do you know where Fairy Jin's of the Supreme Tao Palace is? Ling Xiao looked at Feng Qingyang and asked with a hint of expectation. Jin Se should be in the chaotic ancient land. Feng Qingyang looked at Ling Xiao strangely. He didn't know why Ling Xiao would suddenly ask about Jin Se, but he still answered, Junior sister Jin Se has indeed entered the ancient chaotic land, but I don't know where she is now. Perhaps she is in the holy city of the human race, or perhaps she is in another holy city. I see. Have you seen these three people before? Ling Xiao was slightly disappointed. It seemed that Jin Se and Feng Qingyang were not teleported together. However, as long as Jin Se was in the chaotic ancient land, he would be able to find her. Ling Xiao's palm flashed and Shui Wei, the white dragon horse, and Fatty He appeared in the void. However, Ling Xiao did not have much hope. No, I haven't. Feng Qingyang shook his head and said. However, one of Feng Qingyang's followers suddenly said, Lord Ling Xiao, I think I have seen this dragon horse. Where is it? Ling Xiao's eyes lit up as he looked at the black-robed youth and asked. In the Monsters' Saint City. I have seen this dragon horse in the Monsters' Saint City. However, it was very wretched. It ate one of the origin source sacred herbs from the heavenly demon young master and was hunted down by the heavenly demon young master. The black-robed youth thought for a while and said. Monsters' Saint City. I see. Thank you. Ling Xiao nodded and said. He was going to make a trip to the Monsters' Saint City after he recovered from his injuries to find Shui Wei and the other two. Ling Xiao was not too worried about their safety. After all, Fatty He's original form was a Kuanpeng, which was already a third-stage heaven-treading expert. Moreover, the white dragon horse had extreme speed and should be able to protect Shui Wei. Moreover, in the chaotic ancient land, each saint city was hundreds of millions of miles apart. It was not easy to travel across a saint city. Lord Ling Xiao, you are too kind. The black-robed youth was flattered. Ling Xiao, you are not going to the Monsters' Saint City now, are you? The monsters' prodigies are not to be trifled with. Some of them are very hostile to the human race. There are many monsters experts in the Monsters' Saint City and they often have conflicts with the human race. However, the demon clan is very lucky. They can find all kinds of heavenly treasures and occupy many blessed paradises. Feng Qingyang said unhappily. It seemed like there was some enmity between him and the experts of the demon race. Feng Qingyang, do you know where I can find heavenly treasures that contain boundless life energy? I need to concoct pills to heal my injuries. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. A natural treasure that contains life energy? Of course there was. Hee, I know of a genius of the demon race who has many such treasures. But that guy is very strong. I can't beat him. Do you dare to go? Feng Qingyang rolled his eyes and said with a smile that harbored evil intentions. A prodigy of the demon clan? What is his cultivation level? Ling Xiao asked. He has already reached the human sovereign realm. That guy is very brutal. He is on good terms with a holy son of the heavenly curse sect and has killed many of our experts. He has the longevity grass. Feng Qingyang said slowly. Befriend the holy son of the heavenly curse sect. Then he's unlucky. Take me there. We can't miss out on the longevity grass. If what you said is true, I'll give you a divine elixir pill to help you reach the human sovereign realm. Ling Xiao said with a cold smile. When Ling Xiao was besieged by Hua Xiong and Chen Kun, he had sworn to destroy the Chinese and the heavenly curse sect. Now that he heard that this genius of the demon clan was on good terms with the holy son of the heavenly curse sect, he was ready to kill him. Reach the human sovereign realm? Don't worry. That guy calls himself the sky-piercing demon saint. He seems to have a talent for finding treasures. Not only does he have the longevity grass, but he also has various origin divine elixirs. He won't let you down. Feng Qingyang's eyes lit up immediately. He had gone through a lot of trouble to break the limit for the first time. However, he didn't have enough accumulation. He didn't know when he would reach the human sovereign realm. Ling Zhao's words made him excited and he started to take it seriously. Let's go. Ling Zhao said faintly. Feng Qingyang immediately soared into the sky and flew away with Ling Zhao and the rest. Everyone was shocked as well. They had all heard of how brutal the sky-reaching demon saint was, and that his hands were stained with the blood of many geniuses. Now that Ling Zhao was going to make an example out of him, they were both shocked and excited. To be able to witness a peerless genius, their hearts were filled with anticipation. Swoosh! 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 Feng Qingyang led Ling Zhao and the rest out of the spiritual stone island. The chaotic star island was extremely vast. There was a huge continent in the center, which was the human clan's holy city. Feng Qingyang was going to bring Ling Zhao to a huge island called the Sky-Piercing Island. The Sky-Piercing Demon Saint had named it himself. The chaotic star island was filled with danger. Not only were there powerful beasts in the sky, but there were also ferocious sea beasts in the sea. Those were ancient ferocious beasts. No one knew how long they had been cultivating. Some were even stronger than sages. Other than that, chaotic storms would appear at irregular intervals in the chaotic star island. The chaotic storms could shatter all laws and energy and disintegrate all living beings into chaotic particles. It was extremely terrifying. Even sages did not dare to face the chaotic storms and could only avoid them. Therefore, unless they were looking for treasures, very few people would come to the chaotic star island. Feng Qingyang, Ling Zhao, and the rest were extremely fast. Along the way, the chaotic star island was very peaceful. They did not encounter any powerful ferocious beasts or chaotic storms. They arrived at the sky-piercing island without any mishaps. The sky-piercing island was extremely vast. It was actually hundreds of times the size of the spiritual stone island. The island had undulating mountain ranges and towering ancient trees. It was filled with chaotic mist and contained boundless energy essence. It was a paradise. Ling Zhao could sense the aura of many powerful beings on the sky-piercing island. Each of them was extremely powerful. This is the sky-piercing island. The sky-piercing demon saint has built the heavenly palace in the most central mountain range. He has gathered many powerful demons and even enslaved many primitive humans to serve him. This fellow is extremely vicious and cunning. He is a malignant tumor. Feng Qingyang's eyes were filled with disgust at the mention of the sky-piercing demon saint. Let's go. It is your fortune to build the heavenly palace for the sky-piercing demon saint. If you dare to slow down, I will throw all of you into the divine dragon cave. Suddenly, a cold reprimand came from below. Ling Zhao and Feng Qingyang saw that in the mountain range below, there were many humans in ragged clothes. Their cultivation levels had been sealed, and they were working hard to break the mountain rocks and extract stones. Chapter 2090. Sir, can you make an exception? My grandson is still young. He can't carry such a heavy stone. Can I carry it for him? A white-haired old man with a face full of wrinkles was carrying a huge rock. He was hunched over and begged a black-robed man. Beside him stood a 7 or 8-year-old child. He looked very cute, but at this moment, his face was flushed red. He was carrying a piece of stone that was as tall as a person. He walked unsteadily, as if he would fall at any moment. The stones were extremely heavy. They were the essence of the stone mine and contained chaotic energy. Therefore, even if these human experts had strong bodies, they could not bear it. You're helping him carry the stone. Old thing, since your grandson can't even carry the stone, why don't I eat him? The black-robed man held a steel whip and looked at the child maliciously. He licked his scarlet tongue and his eyes were filled with cruelty. Sir! Sir, please have mercy. My grandson is still young. Please let him go. The old man's expression changed drastically. He put down the stone on his back and knelt in front of the black-robed man. His heart was filled with regret. Old thing, you dare to disobey my orders? Get lost. I'm going to eat your grandson today. The black-robed man kicked the old man to the ground and then whipped the old man with the steel whip. The old man's flesh was torn open and his body was badly mutilated. He screamed in pain. Sir, I was wrong. My grandson can carry the stone. Please let him go. Or you can eat me. I'm willing to exchange my life for yours. Although the old man was badly mutilated and his face was extremely pale, he still begged bitterly. Grandfather, you don't have to beg them. They're a bunch of inhumane people. Rui would rather die than let you beg them. The child's face was filled with anger. He helped the old man up and glared at the black-robed man. You've got some backbone. But I like to eat children with backbone like you. Soft skin and tender flesh, but hard bones and chewy. If you're roasted over a fire, it'll be delicious. Come here, you'll be the 3622nd child I'll eat. The black-robed man licked his lips. His eyes were filled with a cruel light. He reached out and grabbed the child. His whole body was filled with a thick murderous aura. The surrounding black-robed men looked on coldly as if they were watching a show. Their eyes were filled with cruelty. The surrounding humans were as silent as cicadas in the winter. Their eyes were filled with sympathy for the loss of their companions. Bastard! I, Xiao Rui, am not afraid of you. One day, the prodigies of the human race will kill all of you, to avenge me. The 7 or 8-year-old child's face was flushed red. It was difficult for him to speak because he was choked, but his eyes were incomparably bright as he stared at the black-robed man. Rui, My Rui, Grandpa has let you down. The elder's voice was hoarse and tears flowed down his face. He was filled with regret and anger. He had only hoped that the black-robed man would make an exception, but he had never thought that the black-robed man would want to eat his own grandson. If he had known earlier, he would rather not have begged. That way, Xiao Rui could still survive. Xiao Rui. You're really childish. What is this place? This is the sky-piercing demon overlord's cave abode, the peerless sky palace. Even many of your human race's geniuses have died at the hands of the sky-piercing demon overlord. You still want them to save you? Hee, I'll swallow you alive today. I'd like to see who dares to save you. The black-robed man's eyes were incomparably cruel. He swept his gaze across the many human experts present. Immediately, everyone couldn't help but tremble. They didn't dare to look at the black-robed man and lowered their heads. Their hearts were filled with despair. When would these dark days come to an end? The black-robed man sneered with a trace of disdain in his eyes. Then, he opened his bloody mouth and wanted to swallow Xiao Rui alive. A giant black wolf seemed to appear behind him, emitting a monstrous demonic aura. It was a black wolf spirit. It was cruel and cunning. But looking at the black-robed man's actions, whether it was Xiao Rui's grandfather or the other human experts, there was no possibility of resisting at all. Their eyes were filled with despair. Especially Xiao Rui's grandfather. His entire body trembled and almost fainted. Rumble. Suddenly, a blazing fist print fell from the sky. It contained a vast power of lightning. The golden light was dazzling, causing the void to explode violently. It directly pressed down on the black-robed man's head. Who is it? The black-robed man's face changed. He roared and wanted to move away without thinking. He could feel the terrifying power contained in the fist print. It wasn't something he could resist at all. If he took it head-on, he would probably be seriously injured even if he didn't die. A group of evil creatures. How dare you bully my human race? The cold voice was like thunder, rumbling in the void. It was like a brilliant heavenly might, causing everyone to tremble. The fist was extremely fast and extremely powerful. The black-robed man couldn't dodge at all. He could only roar and raise the long whip in his hand to whip at the void. Rumble. The vast fist print exploded, and the long whip suddenly exploded into powder. Even the black-robed man below didn't seem to have any power to resist at all. He was directly blown apart by the fist. Blood mist permeated the void. This shocking scene left everyone dumbfounded. Xiao Rui was unscathed and was caught by a figure that descended from the void. It was a young man in white. His black hair fluttered in the wind. His eyes were like lightning, and his face was extraordinarily handsome. The blood chi around him was monstrous, causing the void to tremble. It was as if a heavenly emperor was patrolling. He had an invincible aura that could sweep across the world. Ling Xiao had arrived. The actions of the demon race were cruel and had no bottom line. This made Ling Xiao completely furious. Although he knew that this was likely to alert the enemy, he still attacked without hesitation. Swoosh! 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 In the void, a blazing light rose. Streaks of sword rain fell like meteors. The terrifying attacks were indiscriminately aimed at the black-robed men of the demon race. Feng Qingyang and his followers also arrived shortly after. They were all experts of the human race. When they saw how the demon race treated the human race, their bloodthirst and killing intent were ignited in their hearts. Therefore, they didn't even need Ling Xiao to speak and attacked. Kill! In the blink of an eye, all the experts of the demon clan in the mine were killed. After all, these black-robed men of the demon race were only managers of the mine. Their cultivation wasn't high. Most of them were low-level half-saints. The most powerful 9 Revolution half-saint couldn't even escape and was directly killed. Chapter 2091. A prodigy of the human clan has come to save us. Ha ha ha. The heavens have eyes. Someone has finally come to save us. Thank you for saving us, my lord. I will never forget your kindness. Everyone regained their senses from the shock and revealed an expression of incomparable ecstasy. Their gazes towards Ling Xiao and the others were filled with deep gratitude. Especially Ling Xiao, who was treated as their savior. Big brother, you're so powerful. Thank you for saving me. When I grow up, I want to be like you, slay demons and uphold justice on behalf of the heavens. Xiao Rui was in Ling Xiao's arms. He stared at Ling Xiao with his big clear eyes and said seriously. You're very obedient and have a backbone. Cultivate well. You'll definitely be able to slay demons in the future. Ling Xiao smiled and patted Xiao Rui's little head. He had seen Xiao Rui's behavior and liked this stubborn young man very much. Ling Xiao handed Xiao Rui to his grandfather. The old man thanked him profusely, his voice choked with emotion. If Ling Xiao hadn't intervened, Xiao Rui would have been eaten by that black wolf demon. Feng Qingyang and the others came up and removed the seals in the bodies of the human clan experts. Suddenly, a powerful aura soared into the sky, causing the void to tremble slightly. Everyone revealed a joyful expression after surviving a disaster. However, their cultivation wasn't strong. Most of them were in the god realm. Only Xiao Rui's grandfather, Xiao Shan, had the highest cultivation. He had reached the 9th Revolution half-saint realm. Thank you for saving us, my savior. However, you've killed so many black-robed demons and destroyed the piercing demon saint's mine. I'm afraid the piercing demon saint already knows about the situation here. Please leave this place quickly. If you're late, your life will be in danger. Xiao Shan's face was full of gratitude, but there was also a trace of worry in his eyes. The piercing demon saint was so famous that the natives of the chaotic ancient land were incomparably afraid of him. Even the prodigies of the human clan had been defeated by the piercing demon saint. He naturally didn't believe that Ling Xiao was a match for the piercing demon saint. Yes, my savior, please leave Piercing Island quickly. The piercing demon saint will definitely vent his anger on you. The piercing demon saint's strength is terrifying and incomparably cruel. My savior, please leave quickly. Everyone tried to persuade him. When they heard the sky-piercing demon saint's name, they couldn't help but reveal a trace of fear on their faces. Clearly, the fear that the sky-piercing demon saint instilled in them was deeply rooted. I'm here to kill the sky-reaching beast saint. Do you know if the sky-reaching demon saint is in the cave? Ling Xiao smiled indifferently, his expression incomparably calm. He had originally planned to snatch the sky-piercing demon sage's treasures and perhaps spare his life. However, after seeing the sky-piercing demon sage's actions, he was completely enraged. What? Kill the sky-reaching demon saint? After hearing Ling Xiao's words, everyone was stunned. Benefactor, you are indeed very strong. However, the sky-reaching demon saint had already broken through the limit once and reached heaven-reaching level 3. His strength was extremely terrifying. I'm afraid. Xiao Shan said worriedly. Although he did not finish his sentence, his meaning was clear. He did not believe that Ling Xiao was a match for Skirich demon saint. You only need to tell me the whereabouts of the heavenly demon saint. I have my own arrangements for the rest. Ling Xiao said calmly. Benefactor, the sky-reaching demon saint is on the highest mountain of heaven-reaching island. The heavenly palace there is where he secludes himself. However, since you've killed so many of his subordinates, even if you don't go looking for him, I'm afraid he will soon come looking for you. Xiao Shan laughed bitterly in his heart when he saw how stubborn Ling Xiao was, but he still spoke seriously. The heavenly palace? Good. Many thanks. Everyone, please leave heaven-reaching island quickly. I'm afraid this place will soon become a land of trouble. Ling Xiao smiled indifferently. Then, he instantly soared into the sky and flew towards the depths of heaven-reaching island with Feng Qingyang and the others. Benefactor is really going to kill the sky-reaching demon saint. But it seems like Benefactor is only an 8th revolution half-saint. How can he possibly be a match for the sky-reaching demon saint? Then what should we do? If the sky-reaching demon saint kills Benefactor, I'm afraid he won't let us off. After Ling Xiao left, many experts of the human race asked in bewilderment. Perhaps Benefactor really has a chance of killing the sky-reaching demon saint. Xiao Shan suddenly said, a trace of light flashing in his eyes. What do you mean, Elder Xiao? Everyone couldn't help but be shocked and hurriedly ask. Xiao Shan's prestige was very high among them. Although they were very puzzled by his words, they couldn't help but believe him. Benefactor is indeed an 8th revolution half-saint, but do you see that silver-armored youth behind Benefactor? If I'm not wrong, that silver-armored youth is a 3rd-level Heaven Treader super expert. Xiao Shan said solemnly. What? Everyone couldn't help but exclaim. Super experts at the 3rd-level Heaven Treader level were all geniuses. They could dominate an area in the ancient Chaos Lands. Like the sky-reaching demon saint, they possessed countless great opportunities. Xiao Shan said that the silver-armored youth was a 3rd-level Heaven Treader super expert and had followed Ling Xiao. This made them feel like it was unreal. Benefactor, to have a 3rd-level Heaven Treader super expert following you, I'm afraid you're not as simple as you seem on the surface. I'm going to take a look at the heavenly palace. If Benefactor can kill the sky-reaching demon saint, it'll be a great fortune for the human race. Xiao Shan said seriously. What if he can't kill the sky-reaching demon saint? Someone asked. If that's the case, we'll just die. If the sky-reaching demon saint isn't dead, we won't be able to escape his pursuit no matter where we run. In that case, why don't we trust Benefactor this time? Xiao Shan said seriously. Alright. I'll go take a look too. Me too. When a man dies, his bird faces the sky. Damn it, I also believe in Benefactor. Everyone was a little excited. Xiao Shan was right. If Ling Xiao could kill the sky-reaching demon saint, it would be a great fortune for all of them. If he couldn't kill the sky-reaching demon saint, they would undoubtedly die regardless of whether they fled or not. Whoosh! 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 Under Xiao Shan's lead, everyone flew toward the depths of Ingress Island. They wanted to witness a great battle with their own eyes. At the center of Ingress Island was a huge mountain more than 100,000 feet tall. It towered into the chaotic mist, majestic, ancient, mysterious, and extraordinary. The mountain was covered by countless towering ancient trees that contained incomparably pure energy waves. It seemed to be full of exotic flowers and plants, waterfalls, and springs. It was like a paradise. At the top of the mountain was an incomparably majestic palace. It looked as beautiful as the heavenly palace. A huge flag was planted beside it, with 4 flamboyant words fluttering between heaven and earth. Chapter 2092. Qingyang, you go and challenge them. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he stared at the heavenly palace. He could sense many powerful auras within the Heavenspan Palace, as well as towering demonic auras. Even outside the Heavenspan Palace, there were numerous demon folk experts standing guard, their eyes cold and murderous. Ling Zhao and the others didn't hide their auras and appeared above the heavenly palace. Who dares to trespass into the heavenly palace? A cold voice rang out. In an instant, the void trembled. 4 powerful auras shot out from the Tongtian Palace, enveloped in monstrous demonic qi, blocking Ling Zhao and the others. They were 4 burly men. They wore black armor and held different weapons. Their eyes were cold and their auras were monstrous. They were like experts who walked out of a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. They were filled with killing intent. Their cultivation was at the peak of the 9th Revolution half-saint realm. Feng Qingyang sneered and said, "Ask the sky-piercing demon saint to come out. You 4 pieces of trash dare to stop me?" Feng Qingyang's silver armor emitted a dazzling light. His hair was thick and lustrous. His eyes were blazing like lightning. He held a silver spear in his hand and emitted a terrifying aura. The 4 burly men couldn't help but change their expressions. You are Feng Qingyang. The 4 men were the 4 great generals under the command of the sky-reaching demon saint. At this moment, they also recognized Feng Qingyang. Feng Qingyang, you are just a defeated opponent of our Lord. Our Lord spared your life back then. Today, you dare to provoke us. Do you want to die? A burly man with a tiger pattern on his forehead said coldly. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Cut the crap. I came here today to destroy your heavenly palace. If the 4 of you know what's good for you, kneel and beg for mercy. Otherwise, I will destroy your souls. Feng Qingyang sneered and pointed his spear at the 4 generals. A powerful aura burst out from his body. Although he wasn't Ling Zhao's match, he wasn't the slightest bit afraid when facing 4 9 Revolution half-saints as an extreme powerhouse of the 3rd level of heaven treading. Destroy my heavenly palace? You really have a big mouth. Since you don't know what's good for you, then don't blame us. Brothers, capture this brat, skin him alive, and throw him into the divine dragon cave. The burly man with the tiger stripes on his forehead revealed a trace of killing intent in his eyes as he instantly roared. Rumble. A huge black tiger appeared behind him. It was shrouded in blazing divine light and emanated a baleful aura, causing the void to tremble violently. The other 3 burly men also roared furiously. Their voices shook the clouds, and the phantoms of black leopards, black jackals, and black wolves appeared behind them. The sound waves of their roars spread out, shaking the world. The 4 great generals rushed towards Feng Qingyang at the same time. They knew that Feng Qingyang was powerful, so they used their strongest attacks. Moreover, there was an incomparably mysterious connection between them. Runes spread out and intertwined, causing their power to stack and multiply. The power of a battle formation. Even if you have a battle formation, you still have to die. Feng Qingyang's eyes flashed like lightning. The silver spear in his hand instantly shot across the sky. A mighty saint aura erupted, forming tens of thousands of spear shadows in the void. Each strike had the power to pierce through the void. Rumble. Divine light exploded in the sky, and demonic aura filled the air. A fierce battle between the 4 great generals and Feng Qingyang began. Ling Zhao didn't pay attention to the 4 great generals. Although they were strong, they weren't worthy of his attention. Ling Xiao's gaze was fixed on the heavenly palace. He could feel that there was an expert with a monstrous demonic aura in the heavenly palace. He was far stronger than the 4 great generals. He was like a blazing sun, blooming with majestic pressure. That should be the sky-piercing demon saint. However, for some reason, the sky-piercing demon saint didn't come out from the heavenly palace. His aura wasn't as strong as Ling Xiao imagined. He was only slightly stronger than Feng Qingyang, and even weaker than Hua Xiang. Since you don't want to come out, I'll invite you out. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. In an instant, the qi and blood in his body condensed. Runes filled his palm, and the flipping sky seal flew across the void like an Archean sacred mountain. It emitted a monstrous aura and suppressed the heavenly palace. How dare you! How dare you disrespect the heavenly palace! Kill him without mercy! The experts of the demon clan were furious when they saw that Ling Xiao dared to attack the heavenly palace. Their aura rose, and they rushed toward the flipping sky seal. Suppress! Ling Xiao uttered a word. In an instant, the aura of the flipping sky seal became extremely terrifying. It was like hundreds of millions of stars were falling, and the experts of the demon clan in front of it were blasted into a mist of blood. It seemed that no one could stop the flipping sky seal. Finally, the flipping sky seal fell on the heavenly palace. Kacha! The void trembled violently, and endless divine light burst out, shaking the entire sky. The heavenly palace emitted a dazzling light, and the runes lit up. They intertwined to form a vast array, blocking the flipping sky seal from falling. However, the power of the flipping sky seal was too terrifying. In the end, the array could not withstand the flipping sky seal's attack. The runes exploded, and the array was broken. Half of the heavenly palace was destroyed. Ling Xiao saw the scene in the heavenly palace. A black-robed young man with a protruding mouth, monkey-like cheeks, and shifty-eyed eyes looked cruel and bloodthirsty. However, his face was covered with frost and murderous intent. His anger seemed to be able to burn the heavens and destroy the earth. His body emitted blazing qi and blood, which turned into intertwining flames of the great path. There was an ancient alchemy furnace in front of him, and countless mysterious scenes appeared on it. Traces of medicinal fragrance seeped out from it, accompanied by a mysterious chant of the great path. It was as if a supreme elixir was about to be formed. Ling Xiao was sure at a glance that the black-robed young man was the sky-reaching demon saint. What he didn't expect was that the sky-piercing demon saint was actually hiding in the sky-piercing palace to refine pills. Moreover, when he saw the mysterious pill runes appear in the furnace and transform into 7 mysterious rays of light, Ling Xiao instantly understood that the sky-piercing demon saint was refining a 7th-grade sacred pill. You're disturbing me while I'm refining elixirs. You deserve to die. The sky-reaching demon saint's eyes were filled with murderous intent. He glared at Ling Xiao, and then the divine light around him blazed. Demonic qi rose, and an extremely terrifying aura burst out. Ling Xiao's eyes were also filled with a strong fighting spirit. He also wanted to experience just how strong the ultimate powerhouse of the demon clan was. Whoosh! The sky-reaching demon saint instantly put away the alchemy furnace in front of him, and then stared at Ling Xiao as if he wanted to remember him. Then, he turned and fled into the distance. He actually fled without a fight. Chapter 2093. Ling Xiao didn't expect the infamous sky-piercing demon saint to be so cowardly. He turned around and fled after saying those words. Where do you think you're going? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed like lightning. Blazing divine light rose around him as he used a secret teleportation technique. Light flashed beneath his feet and he instantly appeared tens of thousands of feet away. He blocked the sky-piercing demon saint's path and punched out. Crack! His qi and blood surged into the sky as lightning blazed. Ling Xiao's punch was unparalleled, like a supreme star in the 9 heavens. It contained unparalleled divine might. Bastard, you're courting death. The sky-piercing demon saint was enraged. A cruel and bloodthirsty light shot out from his pea-sized eyes. His fingers were like sharp eagle claws, containing the power to pierce through everything. He clawed at Ling Xiao's chest. Boom! The void trembled violently as Ling Xiao's fist landed on the sky-piercing demon saint's claws. The sky shook and the earth quaked. Terrifying sound waves spread out as the sky-piercing demon saint was sent flying by Ling Xiao's punch. What? The sky-piercing demon saint's eyes revealed a trace of disbelief. He felt an earth-shattering force coming at him, making him feel like he couldn't fight back. Rumble. After Ling Xiao sent the Tongtian demon saint flying with a single punch, the blazing qi and blood around him rose like lightning. Fist after fist landed on the Tongtian demon saint, filling the sky with afterimages. It was as if he wanted to smash the Tongtian demon saint into dust. Damn it, do you really think I'm afraid of you? The sky-piercing demon saint's eyes were extremely cold. Demonic qi rose around him as vast saint aura filled the air. A ferocious aura was awakened from his body. Crack! He leaped into the sky, his claws shining with golden light. His aura skyrocketed as he clawed at Ling Xiao. There was a loud rumble in the void as the fist after fist exploded. The sky-piercing demon saint's murderous aura filled the sky. His attacks were extremely ruthless as he targeted Ling Xiao's vital points. Boom! Suddenly, beams of blazing light shot toward Ling Xiao from the divine light that filled the sky. They were extremely fast, like sharp swords that could pierce through everything. The golden light was like some kind of hair, but also like golden needles, making it difficult for Ling Xiao to dodge. In an instant, he was shot on his body. Puff! 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 Ling Xiao's divine body shield was directly pierced, and then he was shot like a hedgehog. Die! The killing intent in sky-reaching demon saint's eyes was almost tangible. A sharp scimitar appeared in his hand and he chopped down at Ling Xiao's head. Rumble! However, when the demon saint approached Ling Xiao, a sliver of mockery appeared in Ling Xiao's eyes. Blazing light erupted around him, causing the golden light to tremble violently before shooting back towards the demon saint with even greater speed. Ling Xiao held the flipping sky seal in his hand and smashed it towards the demon saint's head. It turned out that although the golden light had shot into Ling Xiao's body, Ling Xiao's physical body was extremely strong. He caught the golden light with his muscles and at the same time, he beat the demon saint at his own game and deflected it back. This attack was beyond the demon saint's expectations, especially the terrifying sharpness of the flipping sky seal. It made his scalp tingle. Rumble! The sky-reaching demon saint shone with blazing light. Runes rose up and blocked all the golden light. Then, the golden light trembled slightly and instantly fused into the sky-reaching demon saint's body. The scimitar in the demon saint's hand was obviously a supreme treasure. It collided with the flipping sky seal, causing the void to tremble violently as divine light shot out in all directions. The sky-reaching demon saint was sent flying. His body trembled violently and his eyes were filled with shock. This is a supreme holy treasure. The demon saint's voice trembled as he revealed an extremely greedy expression. The power of a supreme holy treasure was extremely terrifying. If a half-saint could unleash the power of a supreme holy treasure, he could even kill a saint with it. If the flipping sky seal fell into the demon saint's hands, his strength would definitely increase greatly. You're about to die, yet you still dare to covet my treasure? You're really courting death. Ling Xiao sneered. His eyes were filled with cold killing intent. Rumble! He pushed out his arms. Blazing flames rose and the great Tao precepts descended like divine chains of order. In an instant, they bound the demon saint. A blazing Yen Emperor cauldron appeared in the void and began to refine the demon saint. Roar! A vast dragon's roar erupted. It contained an extremely powerful sound wave divine power. In an instant, the demon saint in the Yen Emperor cauldron blacked out and his entire body trembled. The flames of the great path wrapped around him as if they wanted to burn him to ashes. Open for me! The demon saint roared. In an instant, the surrounding void trembled violently. A milky white jade slip appeared in his hand. It looked crystal clear as if it contained the mysteries of the heavens. Crack! The jade slip flew out. It contained a power fluctuation that could destroy everything. The Yen Emperor cauldron that Ling Xiao had transformed from the fighting heaven's skill exploded when it touched the jade slip. It was as if it had been directly cut open by a sharp blade. The crack was very smooth. Then, runes rose and turned into a bright light. When Ling Xiao saw that piece of jade, he couldn't help but tremble all of a sudden. This is a fragment of the good fortune jade disc. Ling Xiao's gaze instantly became incomparably sharp. He had never thought that he would actually come across a fragment of the jade disc of fortune in the hands of a demon saint. Ling Xiao possessed a fragment of the jade disc of fortune. Although he was still unable to use the jade disc of fortune with his current cultivation, the jade disc of fortune had saved his life at a critical moment. Ling Xiao knew how powerful and terrifying the good fortune jade disc was. Therefore, he had been searching for the fragments of the good fortune jade disc all these years. However, he had not been able to find it. Now that he saw the fragment of the good fortune jade disc in the demon saint's hands, Ling Xiao was both shocked and excited. He had to get the fragment of the good fortune jade disc no matter what. Ling Xiao made up his mind instantly. Rumble. Translator, Transin editor, Transin the flipping sky seal emitted a blazing divine light and pressed down on the demon saint. Chaotic chi rose around Ling Xiao and his mighty fist intent exploded once again. He punched out and it was as if he could open up 3,000 worlds and dominate the starry sky. He was invincible. Get lost. Chapter 2094. Whoosh. At that moment, a mysterious aura emanated from Ling Xiao's body. A full moon rose from Ling Xiao's palm, intertwined with Tao and truth, containing the power of the laws. It was bright and dazzling as it flew toward Tong Tian Demon Saint. Tong Tian Demon Saint continued to attack with the fragment of the good fortune jade disc. However, his expression changed when he saw the fragment vibrate violently. In the next moment, it flew out of Tong Tian Demon Saint's hand and merged with the full moon. Rumble. The full moon emitted a blazing light. Endless chaotic fog filled the air and the sky shook. In the next moment, it flew back into Ling Xiao's body. Ling Xiao immediately took out the good fortune jade disc and forcibly took back the fragment in Tong Tian Demon Saint's hand. Rumble. At the same time, Ling Xiao's invincible heavenly emperor fist descended. It was as if a vast fist imprint came from all directions. Tong Tian Demon Saint had no way of resisting and could only take it head-on. Pfft! The fist was invincible. It directly penetrated Tong Tian Demon Saint's chest, leaving a trail of blood in the void. Damn it! What kind of treasure is that? Boy, I won't let you off. Tong Tian Demon Saint's eyes were filled with shock. He never thought that the fragment of the good fortune jade disc in his hand would be taken back by Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's attack was so fierce that he had no way of dodging it. Boom! 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 Ling Xiao's eyes were cold. He didn't answer Tong Tian Demon Saint. His fist imprints were unparalleled. Every strike had the power to destroy heaven and earth. The heavenly emperor fist was ferocious and domineering. Ling Xiao's supreme physical strength was unleashed to the extreme. Boom! Although Tong Tian Demon Saint tried his best to defend himself, he couldn't withstand such a terrifying attack. In the end, his body trembled violently and he exploded into a bloody mist. Buzz! An ancient pill furnace flew out of Tong Tian Demon Saint's body. It spun and contained an extremely mysterious aura. Ling Xiao instantly caught it in his hand. Lord Demon Saint is dead. The experts of the demon clan in the heavenly palace were stunned. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. Even the four generals, Tiger, Leopard, Jackal, and Wolf, trembled when they saw this scene. They were extremely shocked and furious. This caused a flaw to appear in the battle formation between the four of them. Pfft! Feng Qingyang's eyes lit up. He grasped this flaw. He immediately, the silver spear in his hand, piercing General Black Wolf's forehead. He Qingyang's primordial spirit. The eyes of the other three generals instantly turned red, but no matter how much power they unleashed, the gap between them and Feng Qingyang was too big. Moreover, without the cooperation of General He Lang, the three of them quickly fell into a disadvantageous position. In the end, none of them managed to escape and were all killed by Feng Qingyang. Throughout the entire Heavenspan Palace, many demon clan experts lost their will to fight and surrendered. Their benefactor really killed the sky-piercing demon saint. Our savior is invincible. He'll become the chosen one. I believe in our savior too. If he can kill Tongtian demon saint, he'll be able to defeat all the geniuses when he reaches the third level of heaven treading. Xiao Shan and the others who came with Ling Xiao were also very excited. Their eyes were filled with excitement. The image of Ling Xiao killing Tongtian demon saint was deeply imprinted in their hearts. They would never forget it for the rest of their lives. At this moment, their gratitude and admiration for Ling Xiao had reached a point where it could not be any higher. This is only a clone of Tongtian demon saint. What a mysterious doppelganger technique. Even I was almost fooled by it. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He didn't sense any damage to Tongtian demon saint's primordial spirit. He immediately realized that the Tongtian demon saint he killed was only a clone. No wonder he felt it was so easy to kill Tongtian demon saint. It was even easier than defeating Hua Xiang. It turned out that it wasn't the real Tongtian demon saint in front of him. He's using a clone to refine pills. No wonder he fled as soon as he saw me. This cauldron of pills is probably anything but simple. Tongtian demon saint must have lost his mind from anger now that it's ended up in my hands. Ling Xiao smiled as he talked to himself. His eyes were filled with a strange look. Boom! He gently opened the cauldron. Immediately, flames surged out from the cauldron. 3 resplendent, mysterious pills charged out. They possessed extremely powerful spirituality as if they were about to charge out. Ling Xiao was already prepared. A huge palm descended from the sky and directly grabbed the 3 pills in its hand. The 3 elixirs were dazzling with golden light, as if they were cast from gold. There were ancient and mysterious patterns on the surface of the elixirs, and a mysterious medicinal fragrance permeated the air, causing the surrounding demon clan experts to involuntarily shudder. They swallowed their saliva, and their eyes were filled with incomparable desire. Ling Xiao, what treasure have you found? Feng Qingyang also rushed over excitedly and asked curiously. If I've guessed correctly. This is probably the legendary golden pill of longevity. Ling Xiao said seriously. His eyes were filled with shock. Golden pill of longevity? Is it the golden elixir of longevity that was said in ancient times to be able to control one's own fate after swallowing a golden elixir, and to immediately become a saint? Feng Qingyang was also shocked. His eyes were filled with disbelief. That's right. It's exactly the golden pill of longevity that you've imagined. However, the golden pill of longevity has been lost since ancient times. After all, the longevity grass is too rare. I didn't expect the Tongtian demon saint to be proficient in alchemy. He really did use the longevity grass to refine these 3 golden pills of longevity. However, his level is not up to par. He should be able to refine a 9th grade divine pill, but he could barely refine a 7th grade divine pill. Ling Xiao said slowly. No wonder he ran away as soon as he saw us. He wanted to protect the golden pill of longevity. It wasn't easy for the Tongtian demon saint to refine the golden pill of longevity. Now, it's ours. If he knows about it, he'll definitely vomit blood. Feng Qingyang chuckled. His face was filled with joy. I'll give you one of the 3 golden pills of longevity. I'll use the rest to heal my injuries. I'm afraid the Tongtian demon saint's true body won't let this go. I really want to see how strong his true body is if his doppelganger is already so strong. Chapter 2095. The longevity golden elixir was an ancient sacred elixir that used the longevity grass as its main ingredient. It could even be refined into a grade 9 sacred elixir that could extend one's life by 1,000,000 years. Although the Tongtian demon saint had only refined a grade 7 sacred elixir, it was still very precious. Ling Xiao could feel that 2 longevity golden elixirs were enough to completely restore his cultivation base. If Feng Qingyang wanted to condense into a human sovereign, he would also need a large amount of life essence. This longevity golden elixir could save Feng Qingyang a few decades of hard work. Let's leave Tongtian Island first. You killed the Tongtian demon saint's clone and stole his longevity golden elixir. I'm afraid he'll be back soon. Feng Qingyang said slowly to Ling Xiao. You guys go back to the human race's holy city first. I need to find a place to cultivate and use the longevity golden elixir to heal. I'll return to the human race's holy city after I come out of seclusion. Before that, don't get into a conflict with the Tongtian demon saint. Ling Xiao said. Okay. Be careful. The human race's holy city is not far from here. This is the human race token. You can find me at the Qingyang Pavilion when you arrive. Feng Qingyang nodded and handed Ling Xiao a token that was filled with chaotic colors. The word human was engraved on it in ancient seal script. Okay. Ling Xiao put away the human race token and flew into the distance. Let's go too. I have a feeling that the situation in the human race's holy city will change when Ling Xiao comes out of seclusion. Feng Qingyang said slowly as he stared at Ling Xiao's back. There was a hint of emotion in his eyes. The situation in the human race's holy city will change. I'm afraid that's impossible. The strength of the sky prides of each race is extremely terrifying. They are all super experts in the 3 heavens treading realm, especially our heavenly prince. It's even rumored that he has reached the 3 heavens realm. Moreover, he doesn't seem to have a good impression of Ling Xiao. One of Feng Qingyang's followers said in disbelief. Hee, let's wait and see. Feng Qingyang didn't explain. He just smiled. Feng Qingyang left Tongtian Island with a few of his followers and headed towards the human race's saint city. After obtaining a golden elixir of longevity, Feng Qingyang planned to cultivate in seclusion and strive to reach the human sovereign realm. The holy city of the human race. The Heavenly Curse Palace was the residence of the Heavenly Curse sect's disciples. It was majestic and majestic. It was heavily guarded with powerful rune formations. Ordinary people wouldn't dare to approach it. In the Heavenly Curse Palace, a black-robed young man with a protruding mouth and monkey-like cheeks and a young man with double pupils sat opposite each other, chatting happily. Suddenly, the black-robed youth with a protruding mouth and monkey-like cheeks stood up. The aura around him was extremely violent, and his eyes revealed monstrous fury and killing intent. You killed my doppelganger and stole my golden elixir of immortality. I will kill you. The black-robed young man roared furiously. His killing intent seemed to have materialized. Brother Tongtian, who is so bold as to kill your clone and steal your golden elixir of longevity? The young man with double pupils in his eyes wore a white robe. He looked extraordinary and handsome. Mysterious symbols filled his eyes, and Tao and truth intertwined around him. He looked extremely mysterious. The young man with double pupils was the holy son of the Heavenly Curse sect, Mu Yuan. At this moment, Mu Yuan's eyes revealed a trace of surprise. The Tongtian demon saint's strength was extremely terrifying. He had already condensed into a human sovereign, and was not far from the second earth realm. Although his doppelganger wasn't as strong as his original body, one would need to be at least at the third earth realm to kill his doppelganger. His name is Ling Xiao. He's with that bastard Feng Qingyang. He's only an 8th revolution half-saint. The Tongtian demon saint said coldly. The killing intent around him surged and bloomed with dazzling light. What? An 8th revolution half-saint? Mu Yuan's eyes flashed. He was completely shocked. Mu Yuan found it unbelievable that an 8th revolution half-saint could kill the Tongtian demon saint's doppelganger. He was very curious about this person called Ling Xiao. Although he's called Ling Xiao, I can recognize him. He used the heavenly battle skill, and the treasure in his hand is the flipping sky seal. He should be Long Outyen. The Tongtian demon saint said coldly. Long Outyen? It seems like he's not dead. Although Saint Hua Xiong and Marshal Uncle Chen announced it to the public, they also guessed that Long Outyen was still alive. He should have entered the chaotic ancient land. In that case, I'll deal with this kid personally. Mu Yuan said indifferently. There was a trace of strange sharpness in his eyes. The double pupils in his eyes were as dazzling as the stars. They were hazy with chaotic light, and contained a power that could see through people's hearts. The Tongtian demon saint showed a trace of fear in his eyes. He knew how powerful Mu Yuan was. The double pupils in his eyes were a peerless superpower that he had cultivated. Once activated, it had the power to destroy the world. Mu Yuan and the Tongtian demon saint had the same cultivation, but no one had seen his real combat strength. All right. Brother Mu, this Long Outyen is dead for sure. Moreover, I suspect that Long Outyen has many fortunes on him. After we kill him, we'll split the fortunes on him. The Tongtian demon saint said coldly. Chaotic Star Island. In a huge mountain range at the bottom of the sea, Ling Xiao opened up a cave abode and hid inside to heal his injuries. His primordial spirit, heart force, and Tao origin were all severely injured. He didn't know how long it would take for him to fully recover. However, these 2 golden longevity pills gave Ling Xiao hope. I hope the golden longevity pills won't disappoint me. Ling Xiao sat cross-legged in the cave abode. The golden longevity pills in his palm were buzzing and trembling. They were dazzling and intertwined with the mysterious power of laws. They were full of spirituality, as if they wanted to escape from Ling Xiao's palm. Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with anticipation. Then, he swallowed the golden longevity pills. Rumble. The golden longevity pills melted the moment they entered his mouth. Like a vast flood, they instantly surged toward Ling Xiao's limbs and bones and exploded. That was the purest life essence. It contained the power of the origin of life. It surged like a vast ocean and started to heal Ling Xiao's injuries. Ling Xiao's body was surrounded by a dazzling light. His aura started to strengthen slowly, and all kinds of mysterious avatars formed behind him. Chapter 2096. Boom. Ling Xiao's aura became more and more mysterious. The runes around his body intertwined like divine chains of order. The vast laws of heaven and earth descended, making him seem like the embodiment of the great Tao. Mysterious chanting sounded around Ling Xiao, like the prayers of the ancient people. It contained ancient and majestic energy fluctuations. The mysterious chanting seemed to form a resonance with Ling Xiao's breathing, causing endless life essence to merge into his body. In his sea of consciousness, Ling Xiao's primordial spirit was incomparably dim. There were even cracks on his primordial spirit. It had been severely injured. However, as the life essence merged into his primordial spirit, the cracks gradually disappeared. His primordial spirit also began to become sparkling and clear. Ling Xiao's primordial spirit sat cross-legged in his sea of consciousness. The life essence around him condensed into blazing stars, forming a vast galaxy. His primordial spirit inhaled and exhaled the essence of heaven and earth. The galaxy around him flickered as if it had converged into a divine light storm, merging all the life energy into his primordial spirit. Ling Xiao's bones were sparkling as if they were cast in gold. Runes similar to dragon scales appeared on them, exuding a majestic dragon's aura. His flesh and blood exuded a faint fragrance. His meridians were like dragons. When they trembled slightly, it was like a dragon's roar. His blood surged like a great river. Under the effect of the longevity golden elixir, Ling Xiao's injuries rapidly healed. His aura also became more vigorous and majestic. Kacha! Suddenly, Ling Xiao felt as if there was a barrier in his body that made a crisp sound. His cultivation was already at the 8th revolution semisage realm. But, He had recovered from his serious injuries this time. And, this had allowed his cultivation to reach the critical point of a breakthrough. As the saying goes, destruction is followed by re-establishment. Ling Xiao felt the aura of the barrier loosening. His body began to emit a blazing light. Rumble. Mysterious lightning crackled in the surrounding space. Cracks began to appear on Ling Xiao's perfect body. Thick strands of tribulation chi seeped out of his body. The 9th nirvana tribulation had descended. With the help of the longevity golden pellet, not only did Ling Xiao's cultivation recover, it even allowed him to break through the peak of the 8th revolution half-saint realm and reach the 9th revolution half-saint realm. The rebirth tribulation was a type of tribulation that came from the inside out, and it was a test of the Grand Tao. Through rebirth, one would be able to fuse even more with the Grand Tao and eliminate the flaws in one's body before finally attaining a perfect state. The terrifying nirvana tribulation descended, and Ling Xiao's physical body began to crumble. His primordial spirit began to shatter, and the saint energy in his body began to dissipate. Even his heart force gradually collapsed. The 9th nirvana tribulation was incomparably ferocious, as if it was even more terrifying than the previous 8 nirvana tribulations that Ling Xiao had experienced. To Ling Xiao, it was a kind of comprehensive nirvana and rebirth. Ling Xiao could feel the danger of this nirvana tribulation. Before his physical body was completely destroyed, he instantly swallowed the 2nd golden elixir of longevity. Rumble. Blazing light rose from his body, and the void shook. His physical body was like a broken porcelain, with cracks appearing on it. Resplendent light gushed out, and in the end, his body suddenly exploded. Not only his physical body, but also his primordial spirit and the Grand Tao origin in his body exploded, turning into the most fundamental particles. However, they did not completely disperse, and still maintained the appearance of a human, looking incomparably mysterious. The tribulation aura filled the air, and the vast power of the Grand Tao descended, as if it wanted to completely obliterate all the vitality in Ling Xiao's body. It contained an incomparably terrifying destructive power. Ling Xiao's body trembled, as if he was enduring endless pain. Light surged around his body, and his vitality gradually weakened, like a candle flame in the wind, which could be extinguished at any time. Ling Xiao guarded his mind, and while he was undergoing the nirvana tribulation, he absorbed the majestic energy of the golden elixir of longevity at the same time. The golden elixir of longevity was like a small sun, blooming with resplendent light at the location of Ling Xiao's heart. As the essence of life poured into the particles of Ling Xiao's aura also slowly condensed. It was like a change from the inside out, and the void shook. Lightning blazed around Ling Xiao's body, and the Grand Tao intertwined, and divine light shone brightly. He seemed to have walked out of the void, and his physical body began to reform. Rumble. Mysterious lightning intertwined, and Ling Xiao's physical body and primordial spirit reformed. The void around him shook, and an incomparably majestic aura fluctuated around him. His entire aura reached its peak in an instant. Is this the 9th revolution half-saint realm? Ling Xiao slowly opened his eyes, and 2 divine lights pierced through the void as he muttered to himself. Ling Xiao could feel that there was an incomparably mysterious shackle in his body. As long as he broke that shackle and passed the divine tribulation, he would be able to prove his Tao and become a saint. A 9th revolution half-saint was already considered to be standing at the peak of the half-saint realm. He could prove his Tao and become a saint at any time. However, Ling Xiao didn't plan to prove his Tao and become a saint just like that. He had an ambition. He wanted to break the limit 3 times and reach the peak of the 3 heaven-treading realms. Then, he would prove his Tao and become an invincible saint. Ling Xiao had absolute confidence that he wouldn't be weaker than anyone. Whether it was the saints of the immortal sacred grounds, the geniuses of the monarch clans, or even the ancient heavens prides, Ling Xiao was confident that he could surpass them one by one. Ling Xiao's body was sparkling like jade, and a vast dragon's aura emanated from his body. He was like a humanoid divine dragon. The blood in his body surged, and it was vast and boundless, containing an incomparably majestic power. Golden light seeped out of his body, making him appear incomparably mysterious. His black hair fluttered in the wind, and his white robes were whiter than snow. His eyes were bright and mysterious, and a chaotic aura rose around him. He was like a young great emperor, possessing an invincible aura. It was as if every move he made had the power to suppress the world. Boom! Ling Xiao punched out, and a series of explosive sounds came from the void. The incomparably hard boulder in front of him suddenly exploded. Ling Xiao exuded an incomparably vast aura. He took a step forward, and the boundless water around him exploded. He instantly appeared in the chaotic Star Island domain. The 2 golden longevity pills had not only completely healed Ling Xiao's injuries, but they had also allowed his cultivation to advance to the 9th Revolution Half-Saint realm. Let's go to the humans' holy city first. Then, I'll go to the fiends' holy city. I need Shui Wei, the white dragon horse, and the Kuan Peng. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he stared into the distance and muttered to himself. Whoosh! Chapter 2097. It was surrounded by ancient and resplendent stars. Chaotic fog filled the air, and divine light seemed to be blooming in the void. Auspicious air rose, making this mysterious region appear extremely peaceful. A giant city that was over 1,000,000 feet tall floated in the starry sky. It was over 1,000,000 miles wide, like an ancient continent. It was grand and majestic. The city walls were glowing. They were cast from bronze and were branded with extremely mysterious runes. Although they looked a little mottled and were filled with the vicissitudes of time, no one could deny their status. The human race's holy city was also one of the 108 holy cities in the entire chaotic ancient land. Ling Xiao stood in front of the human race's holy city and stared at it. His eyes were filled with emotions. Anyone who saw the human race's holy city would feel grand and majestic, and they would feel insignificant. He wondered what kind of existence could create such a grand and majestic human race's holy city. Ling Xiao had traveled over 1,000,000 miles from the chaotic Star Island domain to reach the human race's holy city. Although he had expected this, the scene before him still shocked him. The gates of the human race's holy city were currently open. Many experts were lining up to enter the city. Compared to the huge human race's holy city, they were like ants. A group of soldiers in tattered armor and holding broken weapons stood on both sides of the gate. Every single one of them had a powerful aura and a surging baleful aura. Their eyes were filled with cold and sharp gazes as they scanned the people entering the city. These people were the enforcers of the human race's holy city. These enforcers were the experts who had remained in the chaotic ancient land. They had reproduced in the chaotic ancient land and called themselves a tribe. They were also known as the natives of the chaotic ancient land. For example, the rock spirit tribe that Ling Xiao had encountered previously were the natives of the chaotic ancient land. Ling Xiao joined the queue and prepared to enter the city. Hiss, hiss, suddenly, the sound of horses neighing could be heard in the void. The void trembled, and the sound of thousands of horses galloping could be heard. It caused the sky to shake and instantly attracted everyone's attention. Ling Xiao saw 9 steeds flying through the air. On the backs of the horses sat 9 powerful warriors in black armor. Their faces were covered by the armor, and their strength was unparalleled. Their eyes were cold and sharp, and their bodies were surrounded by a murderous aura. Those 9 steeds were ancient variant breeds, and they looked extremely handsome. Their entire bodies were snow white without a trace of impurities, and their bodies were suffused with mysterious spatial fluctuations as if they could travel through space. The 9 warriors rode on white horses, and each of them had prey behind them. It was as if they had gone through a fierce battle, causing their auras to become incomparably violent. This is the Pegasus of the Pegasus race? No, it's not a purebred Pegasus, it's just an ancient variant with the Pegasus bloodline. Ling Xiao thought to himself as he stared at the mounts of the 9 warriors. The 9 divine cavalry is back. Looks like they've had a great harvest this time. I wonder what treasures they've found this time. Someone exclaimed. His eyes were filled with awe and respect. 9 divine cavalry. Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat, and he only understood when he heard the discussion around him. It turned out that the 9 divine cavalry were formed from the experts of 9 different clans. Even the weakest amongst them possessed a cultivation at the peak of the 9th revolution half-saint realm. It was even to the extent that some people said that the eldest and second eldest of the 9 divine cavalry were already extraordinary experts at the 3rd level of heaven trampling. The 9 divine cavalry were usually extremely domineering. Although it had only been 3 years since they entered the chaotic ancient land, the 9 divine cavalry were already very famous. Who knew how many experts had died at their hands? Moreover, the 9 divine cavalry were extremely adventurous, and they often left the human race's holy city to explore secret realms and dangerous places. They obtained fortune and opportunities from there, which allowed their cultivation to advance by leaps and bounds. The 9 divine cavalry could be considered to be very famous in the human race's holy city, so everyone recognized them instantly. Rumble. The 9 divine horsemen came together. The 9 heavenly horses were extremely divine, and their fur was incomparably pure white. The 9 of them were all wearing black armor that covered their entire bodies, only revealing pairs of incomparably cold eyes. The murderous aura around them was monstrous. As soon as they arrived at the gate, everyone immediately felt an overwhelming pressure, as if they could not breathe. At this moment, the 9 divine cavalry suddenly stopped beside Ling Xiao. "You have the aura of a Pegasus on you. Who are you?" One of the experts among the 9 divine cavalry stared at Ling Xiao and said condescendingly, "I don't know what you mean by Pegasus. If you want to leave, go to the back and line up. If you don't want to leave, then leave." Ling Xiao said indifferently, and his expression was very calm. His heart skipped a beat. He did not expect the 9 divine cavalry to be so mysterious. They actually felt the aura of a white dragon horse on him. Ling Xiao was sure that the aura of a Pegasus mentioned by the 9 divine cavalry must be the aura of a white dragon horse. "Kid, you're very arrogant. If you're arrogant without strength, you won't live long." The expert sneered, and his eyes overflowed with a trace of coldness. "I'm living very well. You don't have to worry about me. I'll say it again. If you want to enter the city, go to the back and line up," Ling Xiao said indifferently. Although everyone was very afraid of the 9 divine cavalry and made way for them to enter the city first, Ling Xiao did not give them any face. "Good boy, how dare you speak to the 9 divine cavalry like this? Do you want to die?" The expert's eyes were cold. The other 8 experts looked at Ling Xiao coldly. Powerful evil spirits and auras surged, suppressing Ling Xiao as if they wanted to force him to retreat. However, Ling Xiao's expression was as calm as usual. He sneered and said, "I've never heard of the 9 divine cavalry. Don't be noisy in front of me. If you want to die, then come at me." He could feel that the 9 divine cavalry looked at him with a trace of malice. Needless to say, it was for the aura left by the white dragon horse. Although the Pegasus of the 9 divine cavalry was an ancient variant, its bloodline was not pure. They probably felt the pure aura on Ling Xiao and wanted to get the white dragon horse. "You're courting death." The expert's eyes were filled with killing intent. A terrifying aura burst out from his body as if he was about to attack Ling Xiao. Although Ling Xiao looked very calm on the surface, the blood in his body was surging. He was ready to attack at any time. If the 9 divine cavalry were really reckless, he did not mind using the so-called 9 divine cavalry to establish his authority. "What do you want to do? This is the holy city of the human clan. If you dare to attack here, you'll be killed without mercy." At this moment, a cold voice sounded. More than a dozen law enforcers' eyes were like lightning. The aura around them rose, and they were holding ancient and broken weapons. They surrounded Ling Xiao and the 9 divine cavalry. "Law enforcers, you should have seen that they provoked us first." Chapter 2098. I don't care who is provoking you. You are not allowed to fight in the human race's holy city. Violators will be killed without mercy. Do you want to live or die? A captain of the enforcers sneered at Ling Xiao, his eyes cold and indifferent. His eyes were full of warning. "Brother Lu, don't worry. We follow the rules. However, this person's background is unknown. I'm afraid he doesn't even have the human race's holy token. Brother Lu, you have to check carefully. The expert among the 9 divine knights sneered. I understand. Kid, if you want to enter the city, take out the human race's holy token. Otherwise, you are a spy of the demon race and will be killed without mercy. The captain of the enforcers said coldly. The surrounding enforcers were filled with murderous intent as they locked onto Ling Xiao. Oh no, oh no. This kid dares to offend the 9 divine knights. Looks like it will be difficult for him to escape. That's right. I heard that the 9 divine knights have a good relationship with the enforcers. They often offer precious treasures. This kid could offend anyone but the 9 divine knights. Isn't that so? The human race's holy token is very precious. It is not something that ordinary people can get. Only the geniuses of the immortal sacred grounds and the emperor race are qualified to get the human race's holy token. Ordinary people can only get an ordinary identity token at most. The crowd discussed fervently as they looked at Ling Xiao sympathetically. Ling Xiao's eyes turned cold as he stared at the captain of the enforcers and said, "Are you openly siding with them? Why don't you check their human race's holy token?" The captain of the enforcers sneered and said, "I am familiar with the 9 divine knights. There is no need to prove it. However, I am very suspicious of your identity because of your unknown background. If you can't take out your identity token, don't blame me for capturing you directly. You want the human race's holy token? Then open your dog eyes and see what this is." Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with coldness. There was no expression on his face as a token that emitted a chaotic color appeared in his palm. It was the human race's holy token that Feng Qingyang gave him. This is the human race's holy token of the Taishang Palace? You are from the Taishang Palace? The captain of the enforcers' expression changed as he said with an ugly expression. He originally thought that Ling Xiao was just a lone cultivator, but he didn't expect Ling Xiao to have the human clan's sacred medallion from the Supreme Holy Ji Palace. The 12 immortal sacred grounds of the God realm were famous, and even in the human clan's sacred city, they had great power. Even the enforcers were inextricably linked to the 12 immortal holy lands. Someone from the Supreme Dao Palace? No wonder he was so arrogant. However, even Feng Qingyang of the Supreme Dao Palace has to be respectful in front of us. What right do you have to be so arrogant? Brat, don't let me catch you outside. Otherwise, I'm afraid you won't be able to return to the holy city alive. Ha ha ha. The expert among the 9 divine knights was named Xinjiu. At that moment, he did not hide the disdain in his eyes. Even though he knew that Ling Xiao was from the Taishang Holy Ji Palace, he still did not have the slightest bit of fear. He even directly threatened him, extremely arrogant and overbearing. You're right. Don't let me meet you outside. Otherwise, I'm afraid that the 9 divine cavalry will be removed from the list. Ling Xiao also said indifferently. His eyes were incomparably sharp and filled with traces of coldness. I'll be waiting. Xinjiu looked at Ling Xiao coldly. Then, the 9 divine knights instantly plunged into the holy city of the human tribe like a torrent. Don't create trouble in the holy city of the human tribe. Otherwise, even if you're a disciple of the Supreme Dao Palace, you won't be saved. The leader of the enforcers warned Ling Xiao again. Ling Xiao did not even look at him and ignored him directly. Then, he entered the holy city of the human tribe. The leader of the enforcers' eyes flashed coldly. He stared at Ling Xiao's back for a while and snorted coldly. He remembered Ling Xiao in his heart. The enforcers were the descendants of the indigenous people. Due to certain restrictions, they could not move freely like Ling Xiao and the other trial testers. The various treasures that they needed for cultivation required the trial testers to show filial piety and pay tribute. He had received many benefits from the 9 divine cavalry, but Ling Xiao was so arrogant that it caused a trace of resentment to grow in his heart. However, Ling Xiao ignored him. A mere leader of the enforcers was nothing in his eyes. After Ling Shao entered the holy city of the human tribe, he prepared to look for Feng Qingyang. The holy city of the human tribe was incomparably huge. It was a huge chaotic ancient city. The buildings were majestic and majestic. At this moment, the huge and wide streets were bustling with people. There were even small stalls hawking their wares. Earth dragon meat is on sale cheap. Only 10 origin pills per kilogram. It contains boundless life origin and can increase the strength of the physical body. 9-leaf Bodhi grass. It clears the heart and brightens the eyes. It can dispel inner demons. It can be refined into Bodhi pills. Only 20 origin pills. Single-horned rhinoceros buns. The skin is thin and the stuffing is big. 1 origin pill for 10, Supreme Holy Sword personally refined by Master Wang. Only 1,000 origin pills. Today, it's a gift to the fated person. Everyone, come and take a look. Ling Shao stood in the holy city of the human race. Looking at the bustling streets and the cries of hawkers, he couldn't help but be stunned. It was as if he had entered a market in the mortal world. He couldn't get used to it for a moment. I didn't expect the Chosen One convention to attract so many people. Ling Shao sighed in his heart. He could feel that these people were all trial takers like him. The aura of trial takers and aborigines were different. Ling Shao could easily distinguish them. After all, the Chosen One convention swept across the heavens and myriad worlds. Countless heavens prides would enter and compete with each other. As long as one's cultivation was below the saint realm, they could enter the chaotic ancient land. Besides heaven's prides, there were also some supreme Tao masters who wanted to try their luck. Therefore, the vast chaotic ancient land was filled with all kinds of figures. Ling Shao was about to find someone to inquire about the whereabouts of the Azure Sun Pavilion. Ling Shao passed through the bustling streets and was about to find someone to ask about the direction of the Azure Sun Pavilion when his gaze was suddenly attracted by a familiar aura. Ling Shao saw that among the hawkers, there was a middle-aged man in a shabby robe. He looked shifty and had a goatee. His eyes flashed with a cunning light. In front of him were many bottles and jars. Some were stained with mud and filled with an ancient aura. It was as if they had just been dug out from the ground. At this moment, the middle-aged man was trying his best to attract customers, making his stall seem very popular. The aura that attracted Ling Shao came from the middle-aged man's stall. That's the aura of the good fortune jade disc. Chapter 2099. Ling Shao walked towards the stall. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Taoist Huang He. I'm sure all the geniuses in the human saint city have heard of my name. In my hands, there are all kinds of treasures that I found in various forbidden areas and cave mansions. Some time ago, a young man bought an ancient book from me, and the result was that he comprehended a supreme heavenly art from it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a supreme heavenly skill that contains the power of the great Tao origin. It leads directly to the extreme Tao Emperor realm. Think about how great of an opportunity this is. The middle-aged man with the goatee was blowing his own trumpet, causing many people's faces to reveal a tempted expression. The forbidden land of the supreme emperors? Someone exclaimed. His eyes were filled with shock. The supreme emperor's forbidden land was incomparably mysterious. It was a place where all life was forbidden. Legend had it that a supreme emperor had fallen there, and the emperor Tao law had evolved into a mysterious place. Any living being that entered would be tainted with misfortune and die silently. Therefore, although many experts were training in the ancient chaos land, no one dared to enter the supreme emperor's forbidden land. Hearing that Taoist Huang He had brought the jar out from the supreme emperor's forbidden land, everyone was immediately energized. Taoist Huang He, what's in this jar? How much are you going to sell it for? Finally, someone couldn't help but ask, pointing at the grayish-brown jar. You mean this heaven-piercing jar? Hee, you have good taste. This is my biggest gain from this trip to the Supreme Emperor's forbidden land. I found this heaven-piercing jar in one of the cavern dwellings. When I found it, it contained the extreme Tao Emperor aura, causing me to lose a powerful saint treasure. I'm guessing that there must be a supreme god's artifact in this heaven-piercing jar. However, I haven't opened the seal on it, so I don't know what it is. Daoist Huang He's eyes rolled as he chuckled. A supreme god's artifact. Daoist Huang He, how much are you going to sell this treasure? Everyone couldn't help but exclaim. Immediately, their breathing became a little hurried. Immeasurable heavenly sovereign, as the saying goes, treasures are given to the fated ones. I haven't opened the seal, not because I can't, but because I want to give it to everyone. Feel free to bid. As long as I'm satisfied and moved, I'll exchange the heaven-reaching jar with it. Daoist Huang He said with a faint smile. Although his clothes were shabby, he had the temperament of an otherworldly expert. Is this an auction? Everyone was slightly taken aback. You can treat it as an auction. However, it's not limited to the origin source pill. You can bid for all kinds of heavenly materials and earthly treasures. I'm sure that there must be a supreme god's item in this heaven's passage jar. If you don't believe me, just take a look. Daoist Huang He said with a smile. Suddenly, he slammed his palm towards the heavenly jar. His palm spewed out a sharp light as if it could crush a mountain into dust. Boom! The jar trembled slightly, and in an instant, a vast and majestic aura erupted from it. It contained a supreme aura that could suppress all worlds, causing everyone to tremble involuntarily. It was as if a supreme emperor had awakened before them. Their faces paled as they felt extremely fearful. This is indeed an extreme emperor's might. The heaven-piercing jar is indeed worthy of being called the heaven-piercing jar. There must be a supreme god's artifact in it. Someone exclaimed. His eyes were filled with excitement. Extreme Emperor's might. Ling Xiao looked at everyone's excited expression and couldn't help but reveal a strange look in his eyes. Ling Xiao could feel that although the vast majesty was very similar to the Extreme Emperor's might, it wasn't the real Extreme Emperor's might. It was the aura contained in the Good Fortune Jade Disc, which made him even more certain that the fragment of the Good Fortune Jade Disc was hidden in the jar. Daoist Huang He, I'll pay 1,000 origin pills. Sell this jar to me. Finally, someone couldn't help but start to bid, his eyes filled with incomparable passion. You want to buy a Supreme Emperor's item with 1,000 origin pills? I'll pay 3,000 origin pills. What are 3,000 origin pills worth? I'll pay 10,000 origin pills. I don't have any origin pills, but I have a mid-grade saint artifact. I'll pay 50,000 origin pills for this jar. How about that? Everyone couldn't help but start to raise the price. The scene was fiery. It was like an auction. Everyone was determined to get this jar. Ling Xiao was a little speechless. He originally wanted to pick up a bargain and buy this jar, but he didn't expect Daoist Huang He to be so shrewd. After stirring up everyone's emotions, he directly held an auction. In terms of origin pills, Ling Xiao only had 10,000 origin pills on him. Now it seemed that it was far from enough to buy this jar. However, Ling Xiao also had some flawless saint artifacts and even supreme saint techniques that he could take out to exchange, but he wasn't in a hurry to bid. I'll pay a myriad tribulation golden pill. Daoist Huang He, your cultivation base has been stuck in the 9th revolution half-saint realm for a long time, right? This myriad tribulation golden pill can increase your chances of breaking through the limit and let you enter the 3 realms of heaven treading. Sell this jar to me, how about it? Suddenly, a voice sounded in the void. It was indifferent and faintly discernible. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He saw the noisy crowd in the distance split apart, and a handsome young man in a white robe walked out. He was tall and slender, and his skin was like jade. He strolled over from afar, with an aloof and otherworldly temperament. The most unique thing about him was his eyes. He actually had double pupils, like 2 intertwining suns, containing an incomparably mysterious energy fluctuation. No one dared to look him in the eye, and they all involuntarily lowered their heads. Walking side by side with him was a young man in a black robe. He looked like a monkey with a protruding mouth and ape-like cheeks. His eyes were filled with cold and bloodthirsty killing intent. His aura was incomparably powerful, and the murderous aura around him made people involuntarily step back. It's Saint Mu Yuan and sky-reaching demon saint of the Heavenly Curse sect. Someone said, his voice filled with incomparable awe. Saint Mu Yuan of the Heavenly Curse sect was also well known in the human race's saint city. He was extremely powerful, having already entered the 3 realms of heaven treading and formed the human sovereign. He could be ranked among the top of the peerless geniuses in the entire human race's saint city. Sky-reaching demon saint's infamy in the human race's saint city was incomparably resplendent, causing people to pale at the mention of his name. At this moment, seeing the 2 of them walking side by side, the crowd involuntarily opened up a path for them. A myriad tribulation golden pill. Holy Sun Muyuan was really generous. I have to say, I'm a little tempted. Daoist Huang He's eyes flashed, and he smiled faintly. As soon as the words, innumerable calamity golden elixir, came out, Yi Futian was moved. The innumerable calamity golden elixir was a 7th grade divine elixir that contained the way will of eternity. It could help people break through their limits and see their true selves. Chapter 2100. Ling Xiao had a strange look in his eyes. He did not expect to see sky-reaching demon saint's real body here. However, Ling Xiao had concealed his aura when he entered the holy city of the human race, so sky-reaching demon saint did not recognize him. Is there anyone else who wants to make a higher bid? If not, this Supreme Emperor's possession will be sold to Saint Muyuan. Taoist Huang He looked at the crowd and smiled, emphasizing the words, Supreme Emperor's possession. However, the crowd did not continue to bid. After all, a calamity golden pill was extremely valuable. It was not something an ordinary person could afford. Furthermore, Saint Muyuan's status was extremely high. Coupled with sky-reaching demon saint's fierce reputation, no one dared to compete with them. Old man Huang He, stop dilly-dallying. I don't think anyone dares to continue bidding. Hand over the heavenly jar. Sky-reaching demon saint's eyes flashed with a fierce light as he sneered. All right. Since no one wants to continue bidding, then. Daoist Huang Yi's face showed a hint of anger, but he didn't dare to say anything. He didn't dare to offend the sky-reaching demon saint. Moreover, a myriad tribulation golden pill was enough to satisfy him. Just as Taoist Huang He was about to announce that the heavenly jar belonged to Saint Muyuan, a cold voice suddenly interrupted him. A supreme golden pill. I want the heavenly jar. The cold voice contained a trace of anger that could not be suppressed. It came from afar. That's Saint Qingyang. Someone exclaimed in surprise. The crowd slowly parted as a young man wearing silver armor and holding a long spear walked over from afar. His face was like a crown of jade, and his heroic spirit was threatening. His figure was extremely slender, and his black hair fluttered behind him. His entire body was emitting a powerful aura. However, his face was extremely gloomy and his eyes were filled with anger. He walked over from the crowd and glared at sky-reaching demon saint. Feng Qingyang. You coward, you finally dare to show yourself. Sky-reaching demon saint raised his eyebrows and sneered. Sky-reaching demon saint, you killed 3 of my followers and 12 of my Supreme Dao Palace disciples. I can only take your life to repay this debt of blood. If I don't kill you, I, Feng Qingyang, am not human. Feng Qingyang's aura was extremely violent, and he did not conceal the blood-red color and killing intent in his eyes. After Feng Qingyang received the golden elixir of longevity from Ling Xiao, he returned to the sacred city of the human race and had been in seclusion in the Qingyang pavilion. However, when he came out today, he heard that his 3 followers and 12 disciples of the Taishang Dao Palace had all been killed by the Skirich demon saint while they were out training. Feng Qingyang was furious when he heard the news. He wanted nothing more than to grind the sky-reaching demon saint's bones to dust. He rushed over with his spear, his killing intent soaring to the sky. If it weren't for the fact that fighting was prohibited in the holy city of the human race, he would have attacked the sky-reaching demon saint long ago. Hee, Feng Qingyang, how dare you threaten me? You haven't even formed a human sovereign yet. I can crush you with one hand. Killing those ants is just a small interest. You and that bastard Ling Shao killed my doppelganger and stole my golden elixir of immortality. You two deserve to die. The sky-reaching demon saint sneered. His eyes were filled with blood-red killing intent as he gave off an extremely terrifying baleful aura. Don't be presumptuous in the holy city of the human race. Suddenly, a voice exploded in the void. It contained a vast saint aura. Feng Qingyang and the sky-reaching demon saint both trembled. The aura they were fighting seemed to have been shattered by the voice. Is that the voice of the Lord Guardian? Someone exclaimed, his eyes filled with awe. The guardian of the holy city of the human race was a supreme saint. His strength was unparalleled. Even those who had reached the third level of the heaven-treading realm were killed by the guardian in one blow if they dared to behave atrociously in the holy city of the human race. Therefore, although these ancient sky prides were powerful and unruly, no one dared to break the iron law of the holy city of the human race. They were very wary of the guardian. Feng Qingyang, don't you want revenge? Come out of the city with me if you can. The sky-reaching demon saint sneered. I was just about to take your life. Feng Qingyang said coldly. His voice was loud. Very well. Today, I'll kill you and destroy the orthodoxy of the Taishang Dao Palace. What bullshit Taishang Dao Palace? They're just a bunch of ants. Ha ha ha. The sky-reaching demon saint laughed wildly. His already ugly face became even more ferocious and terrifying. The Qingyang Holy Sun wants to fight the sky-reaching demon saint. Isn't that too impulsive? Isn't that so? Although the Qingyang Holy Sun has reached the third level of the heaven-treading realm, he hasn't reached the human sovereign realm yet. The sky-reaching demon saint's strength is extremely terrifying. It's said that he's about to break through to the earth realm. Sigh. Is the Taishang Dao Palace's sky prides going to die? Everyone was shocked as they discussed in low voices. Although Feng Qingyang was very powerful, the sky-reaching demon saint was notorious. He was an existence that could stop children from crying at night in the holy city of the human race. No one thought that Feng Qingyang would be a match for the sky-reaching demon saint. They all felt that this battle boded ill rather than well. However, the battle between the two sky prides still made everyone extremely excited. They were filled with anticipation. Qingyang Holy Sun, you said that you're going to use a Taishang golden pill to buy my sky-reaching jar. Is that true? Daoist Huang He suddenly said in a weak voice. Everyone was stunned. Then, they looked at Daoist Huang He as if he had a death wish. Wasn't this guy too reckless? Was he still thinking about selling the sky-reaching jar at a time like this? The sky-reaching demon saint and Muyuan Holy Sun also looked at Daoist Huang He. He immediately felt the pressure double. He could even feel the coldness and killing intent in the sky-reaching demon saint's eyes. However, Daoist Huang He still gritted his teeth and said, Qingyang Holy Sun, this is the sky-reaching jar. As long as you take out a Taishang golden pill, this sky-reaching jar will be yours. The reason Daoist Huang He proposed to sell the sky-reaching jar to Feng Qingyang was because he was really tempted. The Taishang golden pill was the supreme divine pill of the Taishang Dao Palace. Although it was also a 7th-grade divine pill like the Oneness Golden Pill, it was much more precious than the Oneness Golden Pill. The Taishang Golden Pill contains supreme truths and could allow one to enter a state of enlightenment. If the Oneness Golden Pill only had a chance of allowing Daoist Huang He to break through his limits, then the Taishang Golden Pill would definitely allow him to break through his limits and ascend to the 3 levels of heaven treading. If Daoist Huang He could ascend to the 3 levels of heaven treading, he would immediately become a sky pride-like figure. Not only would his status increase greatly, but he would even have a glimmer of hope to fight for the supreme position of the Chosen One. Chapter 2101. Daoist Huang He didn't have high hopes for Feng Qingyang, which was why he chose this moment to sell the Heavenspan jar. Even if he had to offend Skirich Demon Overlord and Saint Mu Yuan, he felt that it was worth it. Moreover, even if he sold the Heavenspan jar to Feng Qingyang, it would still fall into Skirich Demon Overlord's hands if Feng Qingyang was killed by Skirich Demon Overlord. Feng Qingyang glanced at Daoist Huang He indifferently with a sharp gaze. He naturally understood what Daoist Huang He was thinking, but he still threw an ancient jade bottle at Daoist Huang He with a flash of light in his hand. Here's the exalted golden pill. I want the Heavenspan jar. Light shot out from Feng Qingyang's palm and a divine rainbow swept across the sky, sweeping up the Heavenspan jar and putting it away. Feng Qingyang didn't even look at Daoist Huang He, Skirich Demon Overlord, Saint Mu Yuan, and the others. He turned and rushed out of the holy city of the human race. Daoist Huang He naturally didn't stop him. He believed that Feng Qingyang wouldn't lie to him. After receiving the jade bottle like it was a treasure, he opened it and sniffed the medicinal fragrance within. His face immediately revealed an extremely excited expression. It was indeed the exalted golden pill. Daoist Huang He looked around vigilantly. He didn't even bother with his stall and headed straight for the depths of the holy city of the human race. Humph. Let's go. Feng Qingyang must die today. Skirich Demon Overlord snorted coldly. He glanced at Daoist Huang He's departing figure and also rushed out of the holy city of the human race. Although Skirich Demon Overlord believed that the Heavenspan jar was already in Feng Qingyang's hands, he was still displeased that Daoist Huang He had humiliated him like this. However, the battle with Feng Qingyang was imminent, so he only kept it in mind and would settle the score with Daoist Huang He in the future. Surrounded by a group of geniuses, Skirich Demon Overlord and Saint Mu Yuan left the holy city of the human race and chased after Feng Qingyang. The holy city of the human race was in an uproar as many experts rushed out of the city. In the past few years since the start of the heavenly selection meeting, although there had been constant battles in the chaotic ancient land and many experts had fallen, there hadn't been many battles between the geniuses of the three realms of ascension. In particular, such a life and death battle was extremely rare. Feng Qingyang and Tang Tian Demon Saint were both well known in the sacred city of the human race. Naturally, many people were extremely shocked and looked forward to a life-and-death battle outside the sacred city of the human race. The showdown between the geniuses might allow them to see the path to break through their limits and ascend to the peak, accumulate strength, and compete for the ultimate opportunity and fortune. Qingyang should have already reached the human sovereign level. He should have no problem fighting the sky-piercing demon saint. But that Mu Yuan is very strong. I can't see through him. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he thought to himself. Ling Xiao was also filled with killing intent towards the sky-piercing demon saint. He had killed the sky-piercing demon saint's clone, but he didn't expect the sky-piercing demon saint to be so cruel that he wouldn't even let go of Feng Qingyang's followers and disciples of the Taishangdao Palace. However, he didn't immediately appear to find Feng Qingyang. Instead, he rushed out of the holy city of the human race. He wanted to see the result of the battle before making a decision. With him secretly holding the fort, he could ensure Feng Qingyang's safety. Outside the holy city of the human race, an undulating mountain range, ancient and majestic, pierced through the clouds like a sharp sword, exuding a majestic aura of savagery. Feng Qingyang and Tang Tian Demon Saint faced each other in the air. Their eyes were extremely cold and contained killing intent. They intertwined with each other and condensed into a solid form. A clanging sound was heard, like a divine sword flying across the sky, incomparably sharp. Feng Qingyang, I really don't know where you get the confidence to fight me. But no matter what trump card you have, you'll definitely die today. The sky-piercing demon saint sneered with a cruel gaze. Cut the crap. Sky-piercing demon saint, you've done a lot of evil. Today, I'll take your head as a sacrifice to the disciples of the Taishang Palace. Feng Qingyang's eyes were filled with coldness. Rumble. The aura around him was violent and blazing. Flames rose around him as if forming a vast sea of fire, causing Feng Qingyang's aura to soar to the extreme. The pressure swept out in all directions. He was accumulating his power. The more hatred he had for the sky-piercing demon saint, the calmer he became. How childish. Feng Qingyang, do you really think you're qualified to fight me? I heard that the Taishang Palace has a peerless female disciple called Jin Se who has the Taishang saint body. After I kill you, I'll capture Jin Se and make her my wife. Ha ha ha. The sky-piercing demon saint laughed arrogantly. He was cruel and cunning. The reason why he spoke so much was not because he was doing something useless, but because he wanted to anger Feng Qingyang and find a flaw in Feng Qingyang's body. You're courting death for insulting junior sister Jin Se. Feng Qingyang's eyes flashed with killing intent as the terrifying aura around him erupted instantly. Damn it! Ling Xiao, who was watching the battle from below, also had a cold look in his eyes. He did not expect the sky-piercing demon saint to target Jin Se. This made him want to kill the sky-piercing demon saint even more. However, Feng Qingyang's speed was faster. Rumble. In the void, the sea of fire rose. It was as if a blazing sun had risen behind Feng Qingyang before it suddenly exploded. Endless flames were attached to the silver war spear in his hand. In an instant, the spear pierced through the air and shot toward the sky-piercing demon saint's forehead. The flaming war spear pierced through the air and dyed the silver armor on Feng Qingyang's body dazzling. His eyes were filled with anger and killing intent as he thrust out his spear with all his might. Boom! The void shook violently as the spear radiance bloomed like lightning. It almost instantly pierced through the sky-piercing demon saint's forehead. Good timing. The sky-piercing demon saint sneered and instantly leaped up. His speed was so fast that he turned into thousands of afterimages in the void. Feng Qingyang's spear radiance pierced through the afterimages, but it seemed to have lost the sky-piercing demon saint's aura. A black blood radiance bloomed in the void as if the world had been split in half. The sky-piercing demon saint appeared above Feng Qingyang with a ghost head blade in his hand. His body was surrounded by a black demonic light. His eyes were extremely cruel as he slashed down at Feng Qingyang's head. Kacha! Feng Qingyang's eyes flashed as the silver war spear in his hand collided with the ghost head blade. Blazing radiance bloomed, causing the surrounding earth to shake violently. You've condensed a human sovereign. The sky-piercing demon saint's surprised voice was heard as his figure flew out from the divine light that filled the sky. Chapter 2102. Chi. Feng Qingyang's eyes were cold as blazing flames rose around his body. 9 dazzling suns appeared behind him and pressed down on Skirich demon saint. Feng Qingyang used the heavenly solar art. A sea of fire surged around him as if the entire void was shrouded in blazing flames that wanted to turn all life into ashes. Break! Skirich demon saint's eyes turned solemn. He could feel that Feng Qingyang's strength had increased greatly after he formed the human sovereign realm. He felt a great threat when Feng Qingyang used the heavenly solar art. Skirich demon saint spun like a top with the ghost head saber in his hand. The saber radiance was blazing, and the chilly wind howled like the wailing of ghosts as it emitted an extremely cold gale. Feng Qingyang and Skirich demon saint fought fiercely in the void like 2 dazzling storms of divine light. Every time they collided, the world would tremble and the void would rumble. The desolate mountain range below was trembling as if it couldn't withstand the battle between Feng Qingyang and Skirich demon saint. Crack! A black saber radiance slashed across the sky. Feng Qingyang dodged it by shifting his body. The saber radiance slashed down and cut a towering mountain in half. The terrifying saber intent turned the towering ancient trees on the mountain into dust as if a terrifying storm had been set off. Boom! Feng Qingyang's silver spear pierced towards Skirich demon saint's heart like a silver lightning bolt. Skirich demon saint blocked it with his ghost head saber. The sound of metal clashing rang out as a terrifying shockwave spread out, causing the ground below to tremble and crack like a spider web. Feng Qingyang and Skirich demon saint were extremely fast. They were like spiritual apes soaring in the sky or tigers and leopards fighting. Each of their attacks was extremely terrifying. Both of them were supreme experts in the third realm of heaven treading. Their attacks contained the power of the Great Path Law. One could imagine the destructive power they could cause. The surrounding people stared at the battle between Feng Qingyang and Skirich Demon Saint with amazement in their eyes. Is this the battle of the Sky Prides? The aura is too terrifying, someone said with a pale face. Although they were far away, that aura still made him tremble in fear. Who would have thought that Feng Qingyang would be able to fight the sky-piercing demon saint to such an extent? Did he really break through? Very likely. Rumor had it that Feng Qingyang had fought with the sky-piercing demon saint in the past, but the latter had lost. Now, it seemed like Feng Qingyang would be able to avenge himself. He might even be able to defeat the sky-piercing demon saint. Defeat the sky-piercing demon saint? How could it be that easy? Do you really think that Holy Sun Muyuan is here to watch the show? Given his relationship with the sky-piercing demon saint, if the sky-piercing demon saint is no match for him, he will definitely step in. No matter how strong Feng Qingyang is, he is no match for the two supreme geniuses. It seems like his defeat is already destined. What a pity. Everyone had different expressions on their faces as they tried to guess the outcome of this battle. However, when they saw Saint Muyuan's indifferent expression, their hearts trembled slightly and they began to sympathize with Feng Qingyang. This sky-reaching beast saint is indeed very strong. I'm afraid it won't be easy for Feng Qingyang to defeat him. Ling Xiao thought to himself as he stood on top of a mountain and watched the battle between Feng Qingyang and the sky-reaching beast saint. He could feel that the sky-reaching beast saint was extremely strong, while Feng Qingyang had just condensed the human sovereign realm. In terms of cultivation, he might be weaker than the sky-reaching beast saint. Moreover, Ling Xiao could feel that the sky-reaching beast saint was still hiding his strength. There was a terrifying power hidden in his body. Kill. Feng Qingyang's aura had risen to the extreme. The killing intent in his eyes was so intense that it seemed to have materialized. At this moment, he suddenly roared. Boom! The blazing flames around him suddenly bloomed and turned into blazing runes in the void. They intertwined with each other and seemed to form billions of divine weapons in an instant. They contained an extremely terrifying power and directly pressed down on the sky-reaching beast saint. Feng Qingyang seemed to have become the center of the storm. Billions of divine weapons were all formed from the great Tao. The surrounding mountains were all blasted into smithereens. Divine light gushed out from all over the sky, trying to turn all matter into the most primordial power. This was the forbidden art of the Taishang Palace. Feng Qingyang could feel the power of the sky-reaching beast saint, so he did not hesitate to use this forbidden art. The sky-reaching beast saint was in the center of the billions of divine weapons and was almost instantly engulfed by them. Feng Qingyang's eyes were cold as if he did not want to give the sky-reaching beast saint any chance of survival. After burying the sky-reaching beast saint with the divine weapon saint technique, the silver spear in his hand pierced through the void and turned into billions of afterimages as it shot towards the sky-reaching beast saint. Boom! A huge mountain suddenly exploded. Rocks flew everywhere and divine light gushed out. There was a flash of blood in the void. The sky-reaching beast saint seemed to have been torn into pieces by the divine weapon saint technique and Feng Qingyang's silver spear. What a terrifying divine weapon saint technique! Someone exclaimed and couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. Almost every strike of the billions of Tao weapons contains supreme power. The terrifying fluctuations of the Tao weapons and saint techniques caused the surrounding spectators to feel their hearts palpitate. Could it be that the sky-reaching beast saint was killed by Feng Qingyang just like that? Someone was shocked. They did not expect the outcome to be decided so quickly. No. That's not the sky-reaching beast saint. The sky-reaching beast saint is over there. Suddenly, a divine light flashed in someone's eyes as he looked behind Feng Qingyang. Rumble. Blazing divine light burst out and shook the world. In the endless chaotic mist, the sky-reaching beast saint's body was badly mutilated. However, His eyes were filled with monstrous killing intent. Blood-red divine chains of order shot out from his body and instantly wrapped around Feng Qingyang's limbs and neck. The sky-reaching beast saint's eyes were blood-red. He held a huge ghost-head saber in his hand and emitted a whistling wind as he slashed towards Feng Qingyang. Feng Qingyang, I didn't expect you to have mastered a divine weapon saint technique. But today, you still have to die. The sky-reaching beast saint's voice was bone-chilling as he roared furiously. He did not expect Feng Qingyang to push him to this point. Feng Qingyang had even mastered a divine weapon saint technique. If he had not dodged quickly, he would have been seriously injured even if he did not die. His speed was extremely fast as he descended from the ninth heaven. Black demonic light rose from his body and his ghost-head saber emitted a sound that made one's mind confused. Chapter 2103. Boom. Feng Qingyang's expression changed slightly. He could feel that the divine chains of order that wrapped around his limbs were incomparably sturdy. It was impossible for him to break them apart in a short period of time. Furthermore, Skirich Demon Saint's speed was too fast. He could only endure the power of this blow. The sun opens the sky, the moon destroys the world, Feng Qingyang shouted. Blazing light gushed out from his body, forming two colors, black and white. With him as the core, a mysterious shadow of the Taiji diagram appeared and rotated around him. Crack! Feng Qingyang's aura skyrocketed. The divine chains of order that wrapped around him were instantly crushed by the shadow of the Taiji diagram. Feng Qingyang pushed out his arms. The shadow of the Taiji diagram soared into the sky and collided with the huge skull with a loud bang. Divine light erupted all over the sky like a volcanic eruption. Cracks appeared on the huge skull. In the end, it exploded with a loud bang. The ghost-head saber trembled violently, as if it was about to fly out of Skirich Demon Saint's hand. Puff! The Taiji diagram slammed into Skirich Demon Saint's body, causing the demon chi around him to spurt out. He staggered and his face turned extremely pale. Suddenly, he spat out a mouthful of blood essence. Skirich Demon Saint was injured for the first time. The shadow of the Taiji diagram was filled with mysterious runes and intertwined with the light of the Dharma. It was like the incarnation of the great Tao. It seemed to be extremely lethal to Skirich Demon Saint, causing his injuries to be irreversible. Skirich Demon Saint's body was badly mutilated, as if he had been dismembered. He looked extremely miserable. Feng Qingyang, you deserve to die. Skirich Demon Saint roared. Black divine light gushed out from his body. His fierce aura erupted and his eyes were filled with blood-red killing intent. Rumble. Boom. Boom. Skirich Demon Saint's aura skyrocketed in an instant and turned into a giant beast. He was ancient and ferocious, as if an ancient fierce beast had awakened. Skirich Demon Saint has been forced by Feng Qingyang to the point of revealing his true form. Everyone couldn't help but exclaim. Their eyes were filled with incomparable shock. In the air, the colossal beast was shrouded in chaotic mist. It was pitch black, and its fur was glossy and shiny. Its fur was as sharp as steel needles. It had an extremely ugly face, and its eyes were filled with bloodthirsty and frenzied killing intent. This giant beast actually looked like a giant rat. This is a mutant from the primordial times, the heavenly rat. A gleam of light flashed through Ling Zhao's eyes as he muttered to himself in surprise. He immediately recognized the origins of the sky-reaching demon saint. The heaven-span rat was an ancient variant that was said to be able to see through the heavens and the earth, and possessed extraordinary abilities. Not only did it possess extreme speed, it was capable of traversing through space, and it was even capable of swallowing gold, refining jade, and smelting everything in the world. No wonder the sky-reaching demon sage had such a name. It turned out that his true form was the sky-reaching rat. Roar! In the void, Tong Tian Rat, who was tens of thousands of feet tall, was hidden in the chaotic mist. His eyes were like blood moons, filled with cold killing intent. An extremely sharp sound wave instantly erupted from his mouth, rushing towards Feng Qingyang. At the same time, its sharp claws swept across the air like a huge mountain. After revealing his true form, the sky-reaching demon saint's aura had increased by several times. The surrounding people were extremely shocked, and their faces were extremely pale. Feng Qingyang's expression also changed. He rushed into the sky with the silver spear in his hand, wanting to block the sky-reaching demon saint's huge claws. However, the terrifying sound wave was formless and intangible, but it contained extremely strong killing power. It caused him to stagger and slow down a lot. Bang! Feng Qingyang and his spear were slapped down from the sky by the sky-reaching rat, and the mountain below was smashed into powder. Boom! 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 Tong Tian rat did not give Feng Qingyang any chance to react. His attack was as fast as lightning. His sharp claws constantly fell on Feng Qingyang's body. Feng Qingyang's body was trembling violently as he coughed up blood. He had also suffered serious injuries. Go to hell. The sky-reaching rat grabbed Feng Qingyang and opened its bloody mouth, revealing its white and sharp teeth. It was about to devour Feng Qingyang. Tai Chi True Self, myriad transformations as one. Open. Feng Qingyang's face was extremely pale, but his eyes were extremely sharp. He roared, and the mysterious aura around him rose. The black and white Tai Chi diagram emerged again, wrapping him up. This was the Supreme Emperor Art of the Supreme Doctrine Palace. Although Feng Qingyang had only comprehended a little of it, it was extremely powerful at this moment. The sky-reaching rat's sharp teeth could no longer fall. The black and white Tai Chi diagram slowly rotated, and a bloody light flashed. Several of the sky-reaching rat's teeth were shattered. Rumble. Although Feng Qingyang's face was pale, his eyes were incomparably bright. The Tai Chi diagram shone brightly, emitting boundless light. Runes filled the air, and the great Tao Law bloomed. The Tai Chi diagram was like a bright sun, and it instantly soared across the sky, pressing down on the sky-reaching rat. Feng Qingyang activated the Supreme Emperor Art. The mysterious Tai Chi diagram seemed to be able to melt everything. It caused the sky-reaching rat to tremble violently, as if it was facing the majestic heavenly might. The surrounding space was sealed, and there was no way it could escape. Roar! Roar! The sky-reaching rat roared a few times, and a terrifying aura gushed out from its body. Blazing divine light bloomed. It used various powerful means, but there was no way to break the Tai Chi diagram. It could only watch as the Tai Chi diagram pressed down on it. The sky-reaching demon overlord is going to be suppressed by Feng Qingyang. Someone exclaimed. His eyes were filled with incomparable shock. Was the ferocious and insufferably arrogant demon saint going to be suppressed by Feng Qingyang? Kacha! All of a sudden, a mysterious rune bloomed in the void. Vast and ancient great Tao Law descended, containing an aura that could annihilate everything. Finally, it intertwined into a mysterious rune. It seemed to be hidden in the void, invisible and intangible. It turned into an incomparably mysterious curse power, and instantly flew towards Feng Qingyang. The curse power entered Feng Qingyang's body almost instantaneously. At this moment, Feng Qingyang was fully activating the Tai Chi diagram, trying to suppress Feng Qingyang. He did not expect that someone would launch a sneak attack from behind. He could not help but tremble, and suddenly coughed out a mouthful of blood. The Tai Chi diagram that he was controlling trembled violently, as if it was going to collapse at any time. Shameless! Feng Qingyang's eyes were filled with rage and killing intent, and he stared at Saint Sun Muyuan in the distance. The curse power came from Saint Sun Muyuan, and it caused Feng Qingyang to suffer a serious injury at the critical moment.